The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan. Your will is low, hero. Watch that.
Shall we play a game?
Player to another. Dark soul light. Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the new clan.
Welcome to another episode of Nude Clan. I am Joe.
And this is Cameron.
And I'm Caleb Craig.
And I am Caleb Schweiss.
We are reviewing Fable today. One of my favorite games on the original Xbox.
One of three good titles.
Fuck you.
One of three also like exclusives.
True.
Yeah,
I don't
there
think
was
I
a whole
played
lot.
any other exclusive on the Xbox, just like Call of Duty.
What about, you didn't play any?
No, I played Halo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, other than that.
And there's
Played a
like
shitload of Halo. The amount of days I've put into Halo, I think, like, overcome the amount of hours I would have played on another game.
You think so?
Another exclusive Xbox title. Yeah.
he played Halo a lot.
Well, maybe Xbox, but do you think you played more Halo than you've played Final Fantasy?
Halo 2? No. I've definitely played more Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I have too.
But, you know, I've had a lot more Halo parties than Final Fantasy parties.
Well, yeah, there's
Final Fantasy parties.
Yeah.
We could
Everybody
do-
bring your chips and don't look at anybody else. Just look at your screens.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the MMO.
Sorry, I'm in the
I
middle
guess.
of a cutscene and can't talk.
You could do an MMO
Wow.
party for it. That would work. Like 14 or 11.
Yeah, you could.
Just bring your computers
you could.
over.
That'd be kind of cool.
All right, so since we haven't been playing any
How
of
hard
those
would that be
games-
on your network, though?
Pretty rough, I would imagine.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be great.
Come on, like 6 PS4s. Let's do this. Just like
All
chop,
online.
chop.
Yeah, unless you want
Guys, I'm
LAN
getting- we
party.
We can do LAN party
3
while
frames
we
a
do that.
second, guys.
I'm up to 4. Now, the only reason it's so bad at you guys' place is because Cody has it set up to primarily go to his PS4.
I know.
I fucked with it.
You changed it from
I
that?
fucked with it, yeah.
Oh,
Good.
so that's why I can use the internet now and
Yeah.
you don't go down.
What happens is most of the power goes to Cody when he turns the PS4 on.
Everybody's phones are on the lowest priority.
Okay, perfect. That's why it's taking forever to load videos.
I put my Apple TV at number 1. And
Good. I'm sick of it.
I did, dude. I have not had a problem since I did that. And I put. Oh fuck! I hope Cody doesn't listen to these.
He doesn't.
Okay,
No,
all right.
no
way.
chance.
Because I put the PS4s next, and then I put Kayla Cameron's network, and then I put my computer.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had a problem. I don't really game too much online at the moment, but I haven't noticed any issues, and I haven't heard you knocking at my door saying, dude, I have to do my homework.
Get
My
the fuck
internet
off.
went down.
So what have you guys been playing lately?
I have been playing Fable. I've been playing a little indie game called Game Dev Tycoon.
That game is fucking
which
awesome.
Me and Caleb will be reviewing in 2 weeks from now, and that is a blast. I've also been playing quite a bit of Final Fantasy IV, the after years for Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast, which me and Caleb Schweiss host. And I've been doing a lot of gaming. I probably shouldn't be. I should probably be doing other things with my life. I have many other priorities that have kind of slipped by on the wayside, as you've heard from my financial restraints from last week that I advertised. I've probably been playing too many games,
Yeah.
but I've been having fun.
Well, that's
Good.
what it's all about.
That is very good.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I've only been playing Fable. Just trying to get that done before today, which I did.
Is that it?
Yep, that's all I've been playing.
Wow. I've mostly been playing more of the same. I just got
What's more of the same?
the same ones as last time. Just
And what was
Just
last time?
Cause,
Is that-
Battlefield 4.
He's trying to avoid that
Battlefront.
stupid joke that Joe says every time.
Yeah.
Wait, why have you been playing Just Cause?
just cause.
Every time.
And then I recently just picked up an indie game called The Knights of Pen and Paper, which is pretty fun.
Dude, there's a game that I saw on Steam when I was looking for a cheap game to buy. And I bought Game Dev Tycoon, of course. There's a game called Social Justice Warriors.
I saw that one before.
What?
It's like, I'm so interested in playing it. Oh,
You just go around and like picket businesses.
I don't know, man. It looked awesome, though. You should look it up when you get a second.
All about writing angry comments on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe.
Like the final boss, you have to like summon Rage Against the Machine to come in and start a riot.
Dude, it is like that was the funniest like idea for a game that I've seen while just looking through Steam. Like, whoever thought of that? I don't even know if the game's any good, but just like
Just the idea that
the idea, and it was like a dude with like a shield and like so he was a warrior, right? So he's a social justice warrior. I just thought it doesn't matter the quality of the game, man. That idea is
Sounds like you need to give it a download. Where'd you find it?
It was just on Steam when I was looking through
much?
little games to buy. Cheap. It was cheap.
Then you should
Less
do
than
it.
$10.
I wouldn't.
I think so.
No one else would be
$10,
more
$12
perfect for that
range.
job, Joe.
I already bought Game Dev Tycoon.
And you're out?
It doesn't mean I'll never play Social Justice Warrior. I mean, I'm still interested. The reason I picked up Game Dev Tycoon. Sorry, I'm in the middle of your gaming right now.
No, that's
I was looking for another strategy game to play because, like, we're fans of Civilization. I'd say all of us have played Civilization before.
Very fun
Civ
game.
5 is the
Very,
best.
very fun.
And as we said in our first episode, I think like Roller Coaster Tycoon was a big deal for me. The Sims was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
SimCity is a blast. Zoo Tycoon I played a shitload when I was a kid. It's just those type of games. There's something about them where like those are the games I get lost in, maybe even more than an RPG.
Yeah, the business mode just turns on and you're like,
Yeah, I think it is something about that. It's like mess with the
Buddy.
price just a little bit and like trying to
charge for the bathrooms. Yeah. You're already in line. You're going to pay.
I never would. Well, I have done that in Dire Straits in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
You know what? They hate it in the beginning, but after a while, they love it.
Well, you can always like
love it.
dude, making your park
Clean
free
bathrooms.
and then charging them for the rides is like not a bad way of going about that game.
Oh, that's normally what I do, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Regardless, I was looking for another strategy game, and it was in between. There was a Total War game that was about $10 that I was thinking about getting.
Which one was it? Attila? I saw that one was on sale a little bit.
It might
ago.
have been like, was it Napoleon?
Or Rome, maybe?
I think it might have had Napoleon on the cover.
Oh, okay.
I think the Napoleon and the Attila were both on sale.
Okay.
Anyway, I was thinking about getting those, but then I was like, I want more of an economy thing and less of a war thing. And so I was like, oh, I'll just try this game that Caleb talked about on the pirating episode.
Yeah.
You do build an economy in the Total War games, though.
Do ya?
Yeah, you build like settlements and like build them up to get more gold and stuff like that.
That's
tax.
cool. That's cool. Because like,
But
I was wanting a game. I wish there was a game called like U.S. Government, and like you could just like mess with the like economy and all that other shit. I think that would be a
You get
lot.
in-
That would be a game. I give this challenge to indie game developers: make that game, please.
yeah, or what about like the Fed? It's like a
the Fed.
they're just the Federal Reserve. It's like, yeah, now print more money to inflate it to pay off the
I
debt.
feel like the closest one to that would be SimCity.
Yeah, well, you don't
Yeah,
get to
well,
print
that's the
money
problem.
in
But I
SimCity,
want.
though.
I've already played SimCity. I was looking for something new. That's all.
So this is
Like,
just going to be...
there were games like Roller Coaster Tycoon, the first one, which I love, but I don't have anymore. That I was like, maybe I should pick that up because that was $10. But I was like, no, I'll try something new.
$10 is too much.
I mean,
for that.
No, dude, that game's amazing.
Yeah,
$10 is
I
not
paid like
enough for that.
$1.50 for the third one though, online on Amazon.
Oh, that was a physical copy though.
Yeah, but it's
But you have to put the physical copy in order to play the game.
yeah, that's
which
too
is
much.
Annoying. It's too much for my computer. Let's remember my
true.
Diablo experience. I don't know if it's like taking up too much power or what. I don't know what's going on.
Just make sure everything's plugged in.
You've been
inside,
playing
Joe.
Just Cause? Just Cause.
Yeah.
Anything else of note?
No, not really. Just those few games.
All right. I've been playing Fable, which I finished on time to help with the review for you guys. And I also have been powering through the After Years And outside of that, I haven't touched any other game. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, or no, just the last week, I haven't played a damn thing. So, I did Platinum Eco though. I don't think I talked about that before. I did.
Oh,
end
you
up getting
platinumed it, huh?
Yeah,
I went for it.
I went through the final area like probably 25 times until I mastered it. Oh, and it's like a 30-minute stretch of run and jump and time your jumps and like climb and fight. It's crazy.
So when people see beat it in 2 hours, they don't see it's not actually 2 hours of real time. It's restarting until you get it perfect.
Yeah, until you reset. So it took me probably about 10 hours, I'd say.
Jeez Louise.
For the last few trophies. It wasn't 10 hours for the last playthrough, but it was a lot. So, I don't know. It was cool. I'm glad I got it. Just so
How
that
many
I can,
platinums is that now?
5. Greg has 4, of course, but
Oh, so he's beat your platinum amount, huh?
Yeah, that's right though. I can always get more.
yeah, he can. There's a few games that we have that we could platinum pretty quickly, but
What are platinums called on the Xbox, Cameron?
they don't
They
exist.
don't.
It's just
have one. It's
achievements.
just 100%ing a game.
Oh, okay.
Because you get
certain,
like the
certain
maximum
achievements
amount.
and more.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
It feels less hog statusy then.
It
I
does.
think
Yeah.
most games for Xbox have like a maximum of like 5,000 points or something like that.
I thought it was
So-
1,500. Is there really 5,000? That's a fuckload.
Maybe-
There's like 15
maybe
for
I'm
most
just-
of them.
Maybe.
I don't
Take
know.
10 steps.
Maybe I'm thinking of like
Take
Halo where they
20.
have like 1,000 achievements.
Maybe. I don't
Caleb,
know.
you're going to want to get a little closer to Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not quite the mic of old. So yeah, Caleb
got a new bike.
Yeah, I
picked
got
up
a new one. I've been using one that had like insane range. So.
And now I'm using his old mic.
And you're getting too close to it. So it's like
Maybe.
you guys can't quite figure out the amount that you
Well,
need.
the other mic I was using, I had to have it in my mouth in order for it to work. So
True.
Okay. Well, that's just what we told you. And we also told
Yeah,
you
we
we also
kinda-
told you it was a mic.
all the way.
You heard it.
Yeah, it's a robot penis.
It's just electronic discharge. Don't worry about it, Cameron.
Yeah. No, it's so salty.
Pineapple. All right.
What's all this puffy stuff at the base?
All right, so let's do our plugs, and then we'll get into correspondence. So you can find us at facebook.com/NudeClanGaming.
Nude Clan Podcast.
Nude Clan Podcast,
NEWD.
NEWD.
You can tweet me at UFF Podcast.
You can tweet me at Obsidian Bob BH.
And you'll be able to find me at Nude Clan Cam.
Okay, you can find me at Joseph DeGollier. That's DEGOLYER.
Also, please jump onto Twitch and follow our Nude Clan Gaming channel on there. It's just twitch.tv/Nude Clan Gaming. Joe was playing Fable on the Ultima Final Fantasy
I was trying to get people over
channel.
to the Nude Clan.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do we have any followers on there right now?
Yeah, we do. We have like 12.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So yeah, jump on there, and that's where we're going to be
Those are probably
streaming-
the important 12.
Yeah, that's that's where we're going to be streaming non-Final Fantasy games from now on.
Okay.
And yeah, so jump
hopefully
on that.
Cameron and Caleb will start streaming for once in their life.
That'd be fun.
That'd be good.
It's enjoyable.
I plan on doing that as soon as I get like a PlayStation camera.
No,
they can,
the
like,
PS
see my face.
Yeah,
They don't have to see your face. They just need to hear you.
we want to get viewers,
like they
Caleb.
should, though.
We want
Yeah.
them to get there and stay.
Oh, they will stay.
Don't you
They
have
will
a,
stay
Caleb? Don't you have an extra
Lovingly
webcam?
enfolded.
No,
No, you don't. Oh wait, it busted. That's why you had to get the new one.
yeah, it was like causing
How much are
problems.
PlayStation cams?
It's about $50.
Yeah.
15 or 50?
50.
Dang.
It's not bad though. I mean,
Cameron only puts that kind of money forward for a watch strap. I want to be clear here.
Anything that's
Yes,
watch
sir.
related.
so you can also send us an email if you want.
$50. I'd rather buy a 4-inch piece of leather for $50.
Yeah, are you high on camera? But yeah, you can shoot us an email at nudeclanpodcast@gmail.com as well if you want to communicate through there. And please jump on our forums, nudeclan.net. It'll redirect you to ultimafinalfantasy.com.
For now.
For now, yes.
For now. All right. So do we have any questions or anything?
We do have a few. The first one is not really a question, but I have some ideas.
From
From
Hopefully they're not from you.
no, not from me.
the first one is, well, I don't have any questions, but I do have some
It's
ideas.
pixel
guys.
edged.
Okay.
It's I have a few ideas you guys should think about. Your reviews of games on the podcast. People are always looking for reviews on YouTube. You should cut out the video game reviews segments from the podcast and put it on YouTube with a few random gameplay or pictures
That's not a bad idea.
That's a
I would be
fantastic idea.
You
very
can use
into that.
gameplay from your Twitch stream.
Then, Cameron, you may do the audio work.
Another thing is, I don't know if there's a link on your to your YouTube on the front of the website, but you should put that on there as well.
Do we have a YouTube?
As Facebook.
We all automatically have one for creating a Gmail account, but I haven't set anything up yet.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out by next
We
week.
need to, and we need to adjust the streaming stuff to have it stream to our Gmail for Nude Clan, and that's how we can export it to that YouTube channel. So,
Oh, that's a good idea. So you double stream it?
kinda.
Okay.
Well, it's not really double stream, but it's hooked up to that.
I think
Gmail
you can
and we
use
send it.
XSplit to broadcast both on YouTube and on Twitch, right?
Yeah, you can. I think.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we could try
Let's
that.
just do that for both shows.
All right, awesome.
Once we start live streaming, which
Yeah.
we're not ready for.
All right, so we'll set that up.
All right, and then he says, I did see the Twitch and Twitter links, though. You probably have thought of a lot of things. I am in no way telling you how to run things. Just these are just ideas in case you hadn't thought of them.
Well, how about you just back the fuck off? No, I'm kidding. It's cool. We got anything else?
Yeah, we have a few more.
Actual questions, kid?
Yeah, these ones are actual questions.
Oh, good
Yeah, we
job.
didn't
You found
answer
them.
these
topics for
You found them.
discussion.
Good job. Yeah.
A couple of them have video clips that I can't really show.
Well, did we do
So
them
you'll
last
have to-
week? Are they the
No,
same
no,
ones?
it's
No.
different ones from
Yeah,
last week.
this is-
Yeah, we can hook it up. We can hook up the video clips. What ones don't have video clips? Find one that doesn't have a video clip.
How are you
doesn't
doing them? Because we should be doing them bottom to top, because it'll give us least.
Oh, I'm going. I was
Sorry,
going
Caleb's never
Yeah,
done this
that's-
before.
Okay.
Yeah, they just told me to do it, so I fucking did it.
You know what I heard?
What am I, a fucking retard, man?
Exactly.
You know what I heard the other day on like the Adam Carolla show, which is a podcast I listen to because I love Adam Carolla. They were talking about him and another guy were talking about the fear. Like there's always stress when you're doing something that you've never done before, but once you've done it, there's no stress related to anything. So it's kind of crazy that like whenever we're given a task that we've never done before, despite its actual difficulty, it's always like a big, huge mental blockade to go over. Isn't that kind of odd? Like,
That makes sense to me.
I guess it does make sense, but it is kind of ridiculous. Like,
A little bit.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's like first day of school, and you walk in the classroom, and you always have this, am I supposed to be here type feeling? Like, is this the right class? Even though, it's obviously you're following the schedule, there's that anxiousness there.
Except for when you go and it's not the right class.
Yeah, I've done that before.
It's the one next to it, and it's a like physics 4500 class, and I'm like, oh.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was like, okay, day 3 of that class and day 1 of my class, and I walked into the room to the left of my actual classroom, and I sit down, and there's like 3 other people in there. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I thought this was like a 40-person class. I was like, maybe I was thinking of my art class. I don't know. And I'm sitting there, and the guy's talking about like rocket propulsion from the planet and like the ratio, the math behind figuring out how much fuel you need. And I'm like, oh my God. I signed up for a like 1000 level easy science class because I'm like, I need one more. Let's just do something simple, do well in it. And this, I'm just like, fuck, dude. I don't know how I'm going to do any of this. And I looked over at someone's paper, and they had their syllabus out, and I was like, it was kind of far away, and my eyesight sucks. And I'm like, oh, that looks like it says physics on it. And so I like stood up and kind of like walked over and like above them, and I'm like, okay, it's physics.
You
And
couldn't
then I-
just ask.
No, the guy
Excuse
was
me
like,
while I creepily stand over you.
the guy was like German, the teacher. He was like this weird foreign
We will look
accent
at
guy.
rocket propulsion.
When we want to bomb United States, I mean, send into space. Yeah, no, it was weird. And yeah, it was the next door one. I was like, oh, thank God.
That's pretty great. Okay, so I found one of the questions here. I'll give Caleb a rest. This is from Shinru. Warning: long read and lots of text. So stay with me on this. So give us a second. I have a question for everyone. Why do other art forms in entertainment, such as music, movies, books, TV shows, comic books, etc., get a free pass when they want to depict violence and sexuality for mature audiences? But when video games get an M rating, which is the equivalent of a movie's rating R or TV MA, they aren't allowed to get away with the same freedoms that movie makers, music artists, or authors receive when they produce their stuff. So that's the premise. Do you guys agree with that premise?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're still able to create rated M games, but Grand Theft Auto is pretty fucked up.
Okay. An example of this
We'll
would
continue.
be the book and movie Gone Girl, or perhaps the movie and book American Psycho. Both of those movies I love, by the way. Those movies and books deal with graphic violence and feature a high amount of sexual scenes in them. Look up the movie. What was the movie that I saw with the nastiness?
In the Realm of the Senses.
In the Realm of the Senses. It's on Hulu, everybody. Go check that one out. Yeah, Gone Girl ain't nothing. They are for adult audiences only. And whether or not you agree with the content or character actions in those films, they are works of art. Filmed and directed very well and have well-written stories. That's opinion, but I actually agree with those.
Art is subjective, but yes.
Now imagine if a big video game company and game developer wanted to create a game with an exact story and concept like those books and movies.
Rockstar.
It's pretty certain to say that it would never be allowed
Manhunt.
to be made, and if by crazy chance it did, then it would get criticized by every game journalist, game website, general
Grand
news media,
Theft.
and there would be petitions by people all over trying to get the game banned and stuff.
Play some real games, not just Final Fantasy.
Why does it seem that the game industry is still treated as a child and that it's viewed by the mainstream as only for kids when it's making more money than any other entertainment industry? I just want to start seeing mature, well-written stories in more games without people being immature about it. I think games need to be given freedom of artistic expression, like when movies in the 70s gave directors free will to do what they want. And finally, it allowed for all sorts of great rated R films, he's saying.
Agreed.
Imagine if developers could make the games they wanted with themes and stories that wouldn't get them heavily criticized when movies and other forms of entertainment would get away with the exact same content. I think the game industry needs a Tarantino or Martin Scorsese type writer and developer to bring respectability and quality to M-rated video games.
Rockstar.
And change the mainstream perception about them so they can be viewed as art. I'm just tired that rated M game mafia stories and stuff get criticized for game violence. In the same year, a violent gangster film comes out and wins Oscars and is praised by critics and movie sites everywhere, when game sites and news outlets will write stuff about games being disgustingly violent, should be banned from sale. So, thoughts?
Okay,
I have two thoughts.
I think we're going to
As
save
do
our
I.
other two questions.
Cameron has two thoughts. We got to get them out. What are they?
First one is video games are still largely viewed as something that children use and play, even though, that obviously isn't. You have, like, as Caleb and Caleb were continually chanting in the background of that review, there are several games that do portray very graphic and sexual content. But for these news media outlets and, parents and stuff who boycott games like that are generally worried about their children getting a hold of that, because that's what they view video games as a children's thing. Second is, a video game doesn't just portray the content. You are taking part in the content.
You are the
It's
killer.
interactive.
So
not
you
watching
are
the
doing
killing.
that sexual content,
That was one of my points.
or the sexual, and you are
God of War minigame.
you are doing that. Then,
Nice.
so
Tipping.
not just watching it, you are taking part. And is that affecting you in any way?
I think that's a great point. That was one of the ones I wanted to bring out was when I'm watching, when I watch Goodfellas, I'm not actually, stabbing the guy to death. I'm not actually shoving him in the trunk, burying him. I'm watching it take place. Yeah, that's a different thing. I mean, and video games are viewed as for children because they're a young medium of entertainment. I think that's part of it too. They are children in their own way. Gaming is very new compared to all these other things that you brought up. And you know what? Movies get criticized all the time.
They do.
Yeah.
They get hated
Especially
on.
Gone Girl. Gone Girl got like a lot of shit.
Gone Girl got shit, but it might have been for the violence too, but mostly I read a lot of feminist journalists don't like Gone Girl because the man character is, of course, the one in the right. During the movie, at least, and the book apparently was more equal towards him, but it's the same screenwriter as it was the author. So,
Well, it's his medium, and he fucked it up.
It's her.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
whatever.
woman who wrote it, so it's like also kind of weird.
Yeah, well, that's their story. If they want to change it, they can do
he
whatever they want.
cheated, but she is fucking psycho. I'm just want to put that out there.
I don't know. Another thing, I don't know. I just think movies do get a lot of flack, and I'm not sure what the big deal about the games are, other than the fact that you are controlling that character. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I can think of arguing for it. I don't think it should be treated any differently. I think they do have artistic reign. I mean, in Manhunt, a Rockstar game, you're going around killing people, and it's like it's all being filmed. You're killing people, and it's like this underground like taping, and people like it's this underground distribution of you slaughtering people on a film. That's pretty fucking dark. That is like the darkest thing I've ever done, is strangle a fucking dude with a garbage bag in that
in
game.
real life? In the game. Okay.
Yeah, no, in real life, that's nothing.
What about Condemned 2, where you like rip the toilet seat off and beat the shit out of people?
Well,
with
that's
that?
just awesome, but
that's
and those guys are criminals. Although they're criminals in Manhunt too, I guess. But no, and it's I don't know. I do think it can get a lot of flack, and people are always pushing. There's a lot of legislation that keeps getting pushed to try to ban these games to make them
earlier on. I think we're seeing that a lot less than we were in the late 90s.
I think so too.
Caleb, you have anything?
The points that I wanted to make have mostly been made. Another thing is, like, people will just hate on whatever they want, you know, like they'll always find something to be offended about. It's usually towards video games because it's becoming more popular, I think.
Yeah,
one of the biggest reasons
as
that it's getting hate.
As anything gets bigger, countries, industries, more people are going to be crappy.
Okay.
That's just how it is.
I agree with all that. Here's the thing with video games, why I think it scares bad parents is what it does. Parents who believe that they can't control what their kids consume in the media. And so they buy their kid an Xbox, and they let the Xbox be the parent, and then the kid gets a hold of Grand Theft Auto, and then the kid maybe, possibly, could be perhaps influenced by Grand Theft Auto. That's the fear, right? That's the fear.
Yeah.
Do we all agree that that's a bullshit fear here at this table?
Yeah,
It's pretty
Okay,
shitty.
so we have all in our youths enjoyed violent things,
Yeah.
and are not now, except for Caleb Schweiss, violent people.
Don't fuck with me on this.
So none of us have been violent based upon the media that we've consumed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
mean, I don't feel like going around capturing like animals pretending they're Pokemon.
This has mostly to do with parents who, their kids actually have to go to a movie theater and watch said Tarantino movie, which, by the way, does get plenty of flack for violence. But the kid just has to sit at home, perhaps borrow a game from a friend, or
Just
go to a friend's place
house and play this game.
to play these violent video games. So it's closer to home. I actually disagree what he says about the TV thing. Most people don't have HBO in their house, and TV MA is not MA.
Well, it's pretty
it's-
violent compared to the sex that's in it, but that's a totally different topic that someone did submit. That's a great one that I'm excited to get into.
There's a lot of censorship in place for TVs.
Oh, yeah.
And then the ratings board censors movies. The ESRB is not really like a strict sort of like censorship board like the other guys are. And so I'm not sure how well founded.
I don't know. They do have some strict things, like
argument
Halo
is.
is rated M, but it's because you're shooting people that look like people.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing I can think of other than the blood, but there's not even that much blood.
And
Like, I think Halo is the worst rated M game because it's like, it should be like a high teen. Don't you guys think so?
Right.
I feel like that too.
And my
Like,
parents, they justified letting me play Halo because it's
of
not
that?
humans, it's aliens he's shooting at.
Yeah, until you're playing with your
I had
buddy.
that same argument with my mom.
I'm like, wouldn't you want me to kill the invading aliens, Mom? Come on.
It's a fear thing, and it's fear based on bad parents who would rather have the government watch over their child than themselves.
He destroyed,
as he breaks his phone.
he destroyed his phone for that,
No, that
guys.
was
That's
my
how
phone.
passionate.
We have the same phone. He's shattered. I'm kidding. It's yours.
was like, I'm sorry.
Battery fell out and everything. It's only like a
Thanks there, buddy.
$60 phone. So it's not-
No, they're cheap. But yeah, and
That's what I think. And the games, yeah, they got flack. They're a newer industry, so naturally, when you have something new that you've never seen before, you've never had video games just come into the house until the 90s, right?
Pretty
and
much,
so
yeah.
because it was all coming into the house, and then a game like Mortal Kombat comes up in the 90s, people freak out.
Oh, I love that game on the Genesis. That was the original Prove Your Manhood game that my friends and I would play.
But I disagree that other things aren't as much sense. Now, books, yeah, people don't even give a shit about a violent book.
yeah, that's
Well,
true.
I mean,
But
they
movies,
like, try
yes.
to ban books. Which
They
is
do.
Movies,
ridiculous.
yes, and movies do get banned. Like Germany has real problems with violent movies. They hardly ever bring in like
And
a
games.
super violent movie.
Maybe if we shun all violence, people will forget we were violent.
Yeah. New Zealand's the same way. They banned Manhunt, and
Yeah, and I think they banned-
they've banned some movies too.
I think they banned Dead Island too. Two as well. The second one will probably be banned also, but we don't know.
So I'm
I
not
don't think
I'm
that's
not
out.
sure if it's just games, but I guess I can see your point. But like, look, game journalists are just, including us, are just looking for things that'll make you as a gamer
Look at their article.
look at their article
and
or get excited about something. Now, I know they tried to like put restrictions on video games.
Oh yeah,
in the late 90s or early 2000s,
or
whenever
like,
that was,
or like a few years ago.
I think it was GTA 3 that they had a real problem with.
Yeah. Fucking
But
Hillary Clinton.
since then, yeah, it was Hillary Clinton and a few other people wanted to censor games.
Oh, and what's his
Arnold
name?
Schwarzenegger tried to ban video games in California.
The
At least
Vice-
rated M games. Yeah, he tried to he tried to completely shut down the sale of rated M games.
That's ridiculous.
There's bigger problems in California. Let's
Same
be
thing
clear
with,
here.
So that's what I was like.
But no, and I don't know. I think it's just going to get better with time. I mean, people are going to realize that, it doesn't actually cause any sort of violence. If your kid is not functioning correctly, you should control
Let me ask you though,
what they're able to
do
partake.
you think that Hillary Clinton or Arnold Schwarzenegger have ever played a video game?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
But have they watched movies?
Yeah, no doubt they've watched movies.
Okay. So what are they going to be more scared of? Are they going to be more scared of
The thing they don't know.
the thing they don't know or the thing that they're used to?
People will
Sounds
always
like-
fear
Okay.
the thing they don't
This
know.
is just going to be something that's going to go away with time.
Sounds like we need not old people in there. That kind of what it sounds like.
Which will happen. I mean,
Eventually.
they're going to be old when they get in there, but from our era.
If
not
you would like
theirs.
Bernie Sanders, that guy's the oldest of them all. Let's be clear here.
True.
Let's not get into politics, though.
No, but there is a lot of it that goes on that, but I think it will get better with time and just studies that show that it doesn't actually equate to violence
They've
because
been
it's
saying it for years, though. They had the censorship in movies with the violence, and so that might not ever go away. But like the energy around the video games is going to lessen.
yeah. I mean, regulation never works in many cases. You take away
Pretty
alcohol.
much any case.
People-
You take
freak
away
out.
alcohol, it goes underground. You take away rated M games, they go underground. You're just going to criminalize everything. So
Well, then they'll just indie develop it. Because it's
and small distributions will pop up. These big conglomerates will
Yeah.
get crushed. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's getting better. I've heard less and less going into this.
I have to, and
Which is
if you're
good.
seeing it now, I do think it's like a game journalist just trying to say, like,
Yeah,
this one person says this. And then-
I hate journalists too. They fuck with me all the time. I'm like, oh, I wonder when that new George R. R.
they're-
Martin book's
okay,
coming out.
excuse me, journalists with quotes, web journalists
Yeah.
at Kotaku,
No, any sort of
thing like that.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, release date.
BuzzFeed, fuck you.
It's like
BuzzFeed.
release date for Winds of Winter confirmed, and I click on it. It doesn't say a motherfucking thing about a release date for Winds of Winter. They just wanted you to click on their fuckface article and get them a fucking
Yeah, it's
download.
clickbait. It's clickbait.
Fuck that.
And that's all people have been putting on Facebook too. It's like we're all just going
Number
into-
9 will surprise you. Fuck number 9. None of it surprised me.
Everybody
I knew it was there the
everybody
whole time.
and their stupid minds are going into like this internet stream where like everything that they're pulling in, every sort of like piece of entertainment or news in quotes article that they're getting is some ridiculous piece of some just bullshit to like wipe your time away. Like you're just mindless zombies
Yeah, and then
doing
it's
this
like
clickbait
they're
bullshit.
they're in like 12 sections, so you got to click from page to page and get one of their cunt fucking advertisements.
Oh
every
yeah,
time.
they'll place
It's like,
an advertisement right there
All
next to
right.
that button. So you're like,
My
and
entire
then the screen
response
moves,
to
and then you
this
click on the fucking
is
ad.
watch the newest season of South Park. Like that is it.
Yeah,
That's like literally all it makes fun of is all of this shit.
all this shit that we're talking about.
now.
Exactly. PC principle.
Yeah.
banks hate this
know.
one
Hey,
guy
bro.
for this quick
Here's
trick to
the
make
thing, though.
$10,000.
Here's the thing about podcasts that I really like is that you can have a full-on conversation, and we can bring up things that we've learned, or we can be as ignorant and stupid as we want.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that's going to happen, but like, because you're having the conversation, it isn't clickbait. It isn't, hey, look at the 9 things that Asian people do when they get to a stoplight or some bullshit. Like, there's a new article for you, BuzzFeed.
Run it, run it, run it, run it, run into the car and run it.
No blinker. Okay. So yeah,
Asian audience down. Kidding.
as
still
long
here.
as you're the racist guy, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll just be the racist guy on the podcast. How about that? And then I'll be the other insensitive piece of shit that makes fun of Down syndrome people, like I did on Ultimate Final Fantasy, which I still feel bad for. But I don't know. I was more making fun of the song. But then again, it was, I don't know.
Well, I think
I'm digging myself into a pit.
Yeah,
Get me
I
out,
think
guys.
it's time to get to our Fable review, isn't it?
I think it is. We still have one more question, but we'll save that for next week because I think it is time. It is time for Fable.
All right, let's get into this.
Within each of us, there are 2 sides. Which will you choose? This fall, prepare to take the journey of a lifetime. Fable. For every choice, a consequence.
Okay, so Fable. Have you guys have any other experience with Fable? I know I played it a lot when I was like 13 years old.
Nope. First time playing it.
No,
First time
I had
playing
never touched it before. I did watch Cody play it. I think I saw him fighting Jack of Blades
Okay,
at one point. I remember that boss fight. I think I saw Cody fighting him
so
on Xbox.
did you guys know anything about Fable before?
No, it looked more
Getting
like
on
a
the
God of
really.
War. It looked more like a God of War-esque game when really it's like a mix between God of War and the Elder Scrolls games, I feel.
Okay,
It's got
all right.
similar combat to God of War. Not as...
But
Not as
I'm
efficient.
surprised.
No.
Cameron, have you ever played Fable 2 though?
No.
No.
Nope.
See, you had an Xbox 360 in high
Yep.
school, so I would just have assumed that you've played Fable 2.
That's supposed to be amazing.
Because it's
by the
supposed to
way.
be, it was a huge game on the Xbox 360, and that's why I'm kind of like confused.
I think I remember one of our friends, TJ, tried to get me to play it once with him, and I just wasn't having any of it. It wasn't fun to me.
You okay? Did you just like get a nose full of cocaine before getting on here? Yeah, I just
He
well,
did, yeah. I mean, he's got a stein of it.
You know
right
what's
there.
really funny? The other day I was streaming for Ultima, and I know this is kind of going off topic, but I would like go off to the side of the screen and then come back in like, because I was blowing my nose. I had this horrible cold, and then I'd come back in like, all right, let's play.
There's just like a mirror in the back.
Yeah, you just hear like this little chopping.
There's this little blot box of razor blade
As you're,
on the
as you're-
desk.
as you're playing, just see a little trickle of blood come out the end of your
Yeah, like I gotta go, guys. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow.
So Fable was the first game apparently developed by Big Blue Box. I think went on to develop more Fable
Gross.
games. And they were a satellite studio of Lionhead Studios, which I think we've all heard of before.
Yeah.
They wanted to create an RPG game, but they didn't want to create like a run-of-the-mill RPG game. They wanted to create something new. And apparently they were having development problems, and so they made big Blue Box Studios as this new studio just to work on this new game. At the time that
Chicks from Avatar.
At the time they called it Thingy. So the idea for Thingy, according to one of the developers of the game, and I'll read this quote that's on Wikipedia here. The world would be a breathtakingly beautiful place, filled with waterfalls, mountains, dense forests, populated with compelling and convincing characters with real personality. People who actually reacted to what you did. We wanted to give the player control of a hero who would adapt to the way they played, who would age, become scared in battle, who would get tattoos, wear dreadlocks, and address.
Sorry, that's
and address if the player was so inclined. Now, this was 2004, guys, so like the giant RPGs with a lot of stuff to do, they were less available. We wanted each and every person who played our game to have a unique experience and have their own story to tell, basically. Now,
And then we said,
yeah. And they codenamed it Project Ego. It took roughly 4 years to create, and they had a real problem looking for publishers of the game, but eventually Microsoft became the publisher of the game, and that's obviously why it became an Xbox and Windows exclusive when they were actually developing it earlier on for like the Mac operating system.
oh, wow, they were going to hit a huge market with the Mac.
And they aggressively promoting it. And Peter Molyneux, I think that's how you say his name, who was one of the guys behind it, he was calling it will be the greatest game ever made. Basically, up to that point. They wanted to add a whole bunch of humor to the game, and they wanted a really good soundtrack. So they actually hired. Most of the game soundtrack was developed by this guy. I say developed. It was written by this guy named Russell Shaw. But they wanted like a really big theme. They were going all in with this game.
So did they get John Williams?
There's 100. Close.
Oh, okay.
There's 150 people who worked on this game overall. They had a staff, like a regular staff of 70 people, and this is 2004. Like that's a big staff. That's still a big staff now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
If it's
games
not
are getting
big
bigger and
game,
bigger
then-
now, but like the 2004. I mean, this game was gonna be like a huge thing. And luckily, they did sell a lot later on. They got Danny Elfman to
nice.
make that opening theme, and it's a wonderful opening theme. And Danny
is an
Elfman
amazing
did
opening
not
theme.
want to work on the game. He said the problem with video game composers is that, or video game companies, is that they make composers do fake orchestra. Like it's all synthesized tracks, and he demanded a real orchestra, and so they gave him a real orchestra for the main theme of Fable.
Nice.
Which is a beautiful piece of game music.
Yeah, no, I like the music in that game.
When I doing the review, I put the game in. I wanted to watch all of the opening, credits of the game, just as the start menu progressed and stuff. And I was immediately hit with that opening theme. And I'm like, whoa, that is an amazing, an amazing opening.
So you said John
opening
Williams,
theme.
and it's like 2 tiers down, maybe. Like it's a really good video game, or
so demigod,
really
instead
good
of-
composer. But yeah, the rest of the game music, which I still think is solid.
The game
Robert
music was amazing, but that opening theme really just hits you right off the bat.
And it was quite a critical and commercial success. It was the fastest selling game on the Xbox, eventually selling 2 million copies. They released it in fall of 2004, and in fall of 2005, they released a new version of the game called The Lost Chapters, which I believe improved some game elements and also added some more story to the
about 20 minutes
tail end of the game.
of story.
It
was more like a couple
We'll
hours.
talk about that in a little bit. So
Wait, when was that released again?
it was 2004, and then 1 year later, it's 2005.
Okay, so a year after they released the Lost Chapters. Okay.
Yeah. And then 2008, I believe they created the PC port. Apparently, they were having legal problems with it. I don't know why. It doesn't go into detail anywhere about why they couldn't get it on the PC in time. But yeah, it eventually had a PC port. And in 2014, Fable Anniversary, which is a high def version of Fable, came out in time for Fable 3, I believe.
I think it came out on the Xbox 360 as well. didn't
Xbox
it?
360,
Okay.
yes.
And PC, which is where I played it.
So there was a lot of people pointing out that, yeah, it had a great sense of humor. I believe it won some Game of the Year awards, including, I think, GameSpot's Game of the Year award. It was a big deal of a game, especially for the Xbox. It's one of the original Xbox's like big titles. It didn't have that many exclusives like you were saying before. And like Fable is one of those. It's like, oh, the Xbox doesn't have to be just a shooter platform. Like with Halo Combat Evolved, it can now be an RPG system, which is kind of groundbreaking. I mean, think about how like Xbox 360 had some RPGs on it, but they were all RPGs that were basically on other systems already.
I think they had a few that were only on Xbox, but there weren't that many. It was like a handful of them.
Yeah, it was mostly a shooter console for the most part.
It was criticized at the time for having bland character designs for people like in the
normal
world.
people?
Yeah. And it was also criticized for having a very, very short story.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Which I had never beat the story before, so I didn't realize how short it actually was until this time through. I had a total game time of about 11 hours.
Yeah.
I got through the story and did some extra stuff. I've dicked around in the game before, so I didn't feel like obligated to dick around as much this time around.
Look, man, everyone that listens knows how you are. You don't...
Not everybody. I'm sure we got some Just Snood Clan listeners.
You think so?
Maybe.
If you exist,
Please
tell us. Yeah. And then you can believe Joe here.
And they actually put out an apology for not having. They were going to have some other features in the game, like the hero was going to have children, and the children were going to be a part of the plot, and all this other stuff that they had promised.
Yeah.
That they didn't actually fulfill, and so they did put out an apology saying, "Hey, we're sorry, we couldn't get those out. We couldn't make the game as big as we said we were going to."
Okay, well, speaking of playtimes, what was your total playtime, Cameron? Do you know?
I don't. I would have to go back and look at it.
Okay, I think
don't have it off
mine
the top of my
was
head.
just under 18 hours for the Lost Chapters.
That sounds just about right for me.
And I did
We all played Lost Chapters. You played Fable Anniversary.
Yeah, well, it has Lost Chapters in it. But it looks great, too. My version of the game looks beautiful, as you've noticed. And I did all but like 7 or 8 achievements. There's some that are really brutal. And I was like, screw that. But I did all the fun ones, except for the hilarious one that we'll talk about when we get more into it. But,
Into gameplay.
yeah, no, very short game. And, you know, I don't think it was...
It's
No,
very
it was shorter than
for
Diablo.
an RPG.
It was
is
shorter than
short.
Diablo, I think. I think Diablo was about 15 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Diablo was just like really fast, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I didn't feel that way.
You felt like it was slow and painful?
Well, I had to
Well,
restart
yeah, he
Diablo.
played it like 3 times, so he wouldn't really notice.
Yeah.
There were problems with Diablo that, of course, you can listen to on our Diablo episode.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Okay, so let's talk about story. At the beginning of the game, you're basically this nameless hero, which you can name whatever you want. I named him Joseph, but actually no one ever says your name or anything like that. And you're just this kid who's trying to get a birthday gift for his sister, and then these bandits attack, and they slaughter your father in front of your eyes, and then this random dude named Maze, this crazy, like, mage guy, just shows up and he's like, "Come with me, I'll train you at the Heroes Guild." And so time passes, you're at the Heroes Guild, you're training, you learn the basics of the game, and then it's like, okay, now let's have more time pass. And then more time pass, and it's like, okay, you have learned everything you can learn at the Heroes Guild. Now it's your turn to go out into the world and either become a force of great good or a force of evil.
Right. Either way, you're a hero, which is odd to me, but the hero, I guess, is just a person that's above
It's like
others.
a calling or
Yeah, sure.
a job description.
And you have quests that you can do at the guild that get you more renown points, so you become a more renowned hero as you go along. But then you find out that your sister may, in fact, be alive.
Ooh.
And so
You're sent to this little area, this other village, and supposedly there's this seeress there, this blind seeress that has information on your sister, and lo and behold, it is your sister.
It is your sister. So, and you at the point, like, she's in a place called Twin Blades Camp
Yeah.
with this Twin Blade dude.
Big motherfucker.
that you have to fight. And you can either kill him or you let him go. Did you guys kill him or let him go?
I let him go.
I let him live. Yeah.
Okay, I killed him. The reason for that is that I chose to be evil during the game because that's kind of how the game works. You're good or evil, and then you have renown points basically. And I chose evil.
And I chose to play good.
Yeah, me as well. So good stuff.
And Caleb piggybacking
Well,
as well.
I didn't really. It was one or the other. I can't not piggyback off of one of you unless I go mid ground. I don't
Couldn't
get
go
shit.
neutral.
No, dude, neutral's not okay.
Yeah, you find out your sister's like blind because I guess she got her eyes gouged out during the bandit attack, which is awful.
Yeah.
And she's basically been living as this. She has this like crazy power where she can kind of see the future. She's like a seer.
She can see certain things.
And she says, "Hey, you know, someday, brother, you're gonna have to make a choice.
in about 3 hours, you're going to have to
very
make
strong point. I think 5
a
hours. I'd
powerful
say.
choice.
And so you're like, okay, and then you kind of move on with the game. One guy says, you should go fight in the arena, basically, right? And so the arena is this giant gladiator-like thing where you go through all these challenges. All these different, you start with bees and then you go on to bandits and the undead and all this other shit. Basically tiers of shit that you have to fight in the game anyway. That's the arena. And in the middle of the arena, Whisper, one of the people at the guild, your friend from the guild.
Yeah, a
comes
girl
in.
that you grew up with, basically.
You fight with her. You fight alongside her just to deal with the massive amounts of creatures
stuff.
that you're fighting.
All right.
And at the end, you're like, "Oh yeah, we won the arena, basically." And you get a lot of money for each of these events. And then this dude, this guy with the Kylo Ren mask, as I said last time that you guys don't agree with me on, the Kylo Ren mask guy comes out and he says, "Well, let's up the heat, right? Let's have them kill each other." And Whisper's like, "Hey, let's not kill each other.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, let's not get crazy here. Let's fight, make it a show, but we're not going to kill each other." And then you can either choose to kill her or not to kill her. This is once again another choice in the game. I killed her and got my 10,000 gold happily.
Extra for
Which, by the way, there's a brand new cutscene with her brother that he wants to kill you, and he decides against killing you. After that, and he's so pissed
Yeah.
at you the whole time. And like after you kill Whisper, like you'll be in villages and stuff, and they'll be like, "He killed Whisper," and all this other crazy stuff. So
How do you even know who she is? She sucks.
well, she also went through the arena with you, so she's renowned in her own way. But of course, you won the arena.
Second place.
I chose to kill her, and I'm guessing you guys did not.
No, I didn't. I let her live.
Did you want to though?
Yeah, I didn't care. Yeah,
Yeah, you said that Whisper shows up later in the game. You want to?
Yeah, I ended up going back to the first town you're in, and what is it, Oakvale?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was there, and I had like a little farewell scene. She was like, "Oh, you were always the better hero. This land's really not for me." And I'm like, "Yeah, you finally acknowledge my superiority."
She does kind of suck.
She does, yeah. I mean, admittedly, she's better than pretty much everybody else, except for some of the big people. But yeah, and she's like, "You know what? I'm just going to take off. I'm going to go to another place," and she leaves. Yeah. So basically, you get like another 2 minutes of game if you don't kill her. So the idea of choice, I don't know, it's iffy. But
well, it does affect though. Like what you do really affects like how people treat you.
Oh, it does,
and it affects your physical appearance and. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool what they do in Fable. I'm not sure if they really go into the whole good and evil thing as much in other RPGs. You guys have played the Elder Scrolls game. Mm-hmm. Does that? How far into that do they go?
The only game series aside, that kind of goes into that would be Infamous, which has the duality. You can choose to be good or evil throughout your gameplay, and it really does. It alters your appearance and it changes the way people if they fear you, they will run away. You do not want to get killed because you will just mercilessly mow them down.
Right, they've seen
and
it
then
before,
yeah,
kind of thing.
and then in the Elder Scrolls, there's not really good or evil in that one. You just do whatever the hell you want.
You just pay. There's a price for everything. It's
Yeah, and then Fallout 3 had a karma system as well, and in that one you could choose to be neutral if you wanted.
Yeah, so basically the arena serves as the midpoint of the game, I would say. Your hero goes through with like a big successful sort of ordeal here, or you could either kill Whisper or not, and whatever.
Right,
The
and
moral outcomes of that.
Yeah.
You're leaving the arena and you're going through the statues with this one guard guy who's so happy to be working at the arena. And he's like telling you about all these heroes along the way. And you come across a statue that looks oddly familiar to the hero. And it turns out that your mother was actually an arena champion. She was a big-time hero. And she was famous for killing the werebears?
The Balverines.
The Balverines.
The werebears.
The Balverines
Yeah,
Slayer.
she was apparently the first woman winner of the arena, and she decided after one battle that she was going to retire, and she fell in love with your father, and
moved to the town, and that's where you came from. So, I mean, once you beat the arena, that's when Jack of Blades finally tells you that he knows your mother survived and got captured, and then you meet up with your. Let's see. Teresa calls a meeting with her brother. Telling you that you learned that it was Jack of Blades who ordered the attack. So now you finally understand that Jack of Blades has been behind everything that's ever happened to you. This guy's a major asshole in your life. He killed your father. Made you think he killed your entire family, and really they're suddenly alive. And
except for your father, he's
actually dead.
He's dead.
He was just an average person. So,
but yeah, he ordered the attack on Oakville to attempt to capture your family because you have a shared bloodline. I guess
the Archon bloodline, and I was thinking with that Archon plot line, I was like, this is the Ancients thing
in 7
from Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, kind of, and it would basically allow Jack of Blades to finally get the Sword of Aeons, which is
he has to sacrifice someone with Archon blood in order to get this amazing sword.
Right, which is what was used by a guy named William Black, who destroyed Jack forever ago, like millennia ago, and that's what he's in Albion for.
Yeah, and it'll be even more powerful if he has 2 family members. So
so he's pulling as many of these fuckers in as he can.
So your next thing is basically to find your mother, and you have to go through this graveyard and all this other shit. But eventually, you do find her imprisoned. And you're like, let's get out. But then Jack of Blades stops you. And he puts you into this prison,
too.
Where you can't use magic, the magic shield from Final Fantasy VIII.
Man.
There are a lot of Final Fantasy kind of like things with the story.
Fucking magic shield.
So you're in a prison. You're in a prison, and you can't use magic or any weapons or of any kind. And you're basically you're stuck there. And at that point in the game, I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? But of course, there's this little thing that once a year they do that the warden puts on that all these guards bet on is a foot race between you and your other inmates. And like the winner of the foot race gets this beautiful poem. Are we going to listen to the poem?
yeah, let's listen to the poem.
You want to listen to the poem?
Yeah, just give me one sec, pull it up.
Okay, so like the ward, you win the race, right? And then the warden like takes you in. He's like, okay, now this is your prize. You get to listen to my poetry.
Oh man.
And while he's doing the poem, your character is sneaking around because he has to look at the poem on the wall, apparently. Your character is sneaking around behind him looking for a key. And so you don't get the key the first time. You do get the key the second time, and you're finally able to break yourself out of prison. Are you ready? But let's go ahead and listen to the poem. You can skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. All right. You can scrub, can't you?
Have earned yourself
here it is.
a singular reward. One of my world-famous poetry readings.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. These
Look
stone
on your
walls
hero's
cannot
face right there.
still
Looks like
the
you
beating
said, "I'm just gonna
heart of a
butt fuck ya."
poet. I don't want to hear one sound from you.
Yeah,
Pouring forth one's soul requires the utmost concentration.
No. He goes and reads his fucking poem. And this one's not even the best poem. The second poem that he reads is even
The
better, but I
recital
couldn't find
will
it.
begin anon. Remember, I require total silence. The cautionary song
In
of
stereo.
the jailbird. Behold, the ball, the spirited sparrow.
It's the
As
slow
it doth fly
delivery.
above our dreary jail, none can harm it, not even an arrow. And should you try, you would surely fail. Its tail does pour forth from its beak.
I think that's enough.
How once it was
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You have to listen to his terrible poetry twice, and in fact, between that race and the next race, it like passes a whole year of you
Right.
just in prison.
In
I
prison.
assume there needs to be like some sort of montage of you like doing push-ups and shit.
Well, I think it's alluded that you're tortured the whole time.
Yeah.
Because when you finally do break out, it says, "What has it done to your soul?"
So you break out of prison using the key after you finally get the key the second time
Right,
of,
from
doing,
the
of the terrible poetry read, the terrible poetry reading, and you find your mother. You get her out. I let go. I let a whole bunch of inmates out as well, but they got slaughtered.
Oh
yeah, they
Slaughter
suck.
hardcore.
But luckily, you get out just fine.
Yeah, and you find all your weapons and stuff, so you got everything from before. Thank God.
Yeah.
But
So you get your mother. There is like some kraken-like creature that comes out of a well on your way out. That's a nice
Sweet fight.
little monster of the week sort of boss fight there.
and under door 2, the Kraken.
Yeah, exactly. And you get out, and let's see.
That's basically when your sister. Well, you once you get her out, you guys go back to the guild, essentially, and you find that's when you go back, and your mother's like, "Oh, I'll meet you back at the guild," and then she calls you and she's like, "Hey, meet me in Maze's chamber," and you go there.
That's right.
Your mother gets gone, and yeah. And you see your sister like getting teleported from Maze, and then you're like, okay,
Yeah, with
well,
Maze, and you're like, what the fuck's going on, Maze?
yeah, and then you basically you do a little quest
Billy
to get
Maze?
to the town of Hook Coast to retrieve a key, which will essentially combine with the bloodline. So when you kill somebody, or when the blood has flowed out of them,
Flown.
yeah, it will activate the sword. And then this is where Maze truly turns on you, when he finally reveals his true intention.
Dun, dun, dun.
He was aiding him the whole time.
Yeah.
But apparently he had like trained you to fight.
Yeah, basically what he was saying when he was dying is that he initially saved you from the town because he was like, okay, I want this guy to kill Jack, because he knew Jack was evil and he wanted Jack to perish. But Maze was like, you're just not living up to what I thought you would. You're sort of a fuck up, and I think I'm just going to kill you now, because if you can't kill me, you can't kill Jack.
Yeah, and also, like, if you got sacrificed against Jack of Blades, like, that would be more of the Archon blood that Jack could use, I think, for the sword, I think is what it's implied.
Yeah. So he wants to kill you so
yeah.
that Jack doesn't become even more
You
powerful.
do kill Maze, and it is... I didn't mind killing him, because I was like, oh, so you were there with the bandits, and you're... Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And then you go to fight Jack of Blades, who slaughters your mother, and he gets the sword, but in order to make the sword even more powerful, he's going to sacrifice your sister, and that's when you slaughter and kill Jack of Blades.
Huge boss fight.
And it's like, and then at that moment, it's like, you can either have the sword if you kill your sister, which will be the most powerful sword in existence,
Right.
or you can let your sister go and never have that kind of
Yeah,
power.
you can spill her blood
So-
and just have a fucking
So that's
brutal.
the third time in the game, and the final time in the main game, in which it's like,
A major decision.
yeah, it's a major decision. You can kill and get power, or you cannot kill and just be better for it. I killed my sister, got a shitload of evil points, and I actually kind of felt bad about it. It's like, you kill your sister, you get the awesome sword. It is a pretty fucking good sword.
Yeah.
I kill a lot of things in just one hit. Man. And then the original game ends from there. I killed her. You guys, I assume,
I
did not.
Nope.
Well, I took the sword and
Cast it into the fire!
I listened.
That was a good drop timing there, twice.
Yeah, no, I tossed the sword into the rift, and yeah. Jack was defeated.
But so that's where the main game ends. The expansion, of course, Lost Chapters goes on from there. Jack of Blades comes back in the form of a dragon.
A giant dragon.
And there's this great and powerful mask that you can get a hold of or not. And if you've been playing good the whole time, then you can... Then I guess you throw the mask away.
Into lava.
Into the lava.
Yeah, that's when you really cast it into the fire.
Yeah, cast it a word, and you cast it and it explodes, and Mount Doom destroyed.
Or, if you've been playing evil the whole time, you put on the mask and the game ends.
Yeah, really the Lost Chapters section didn't add much to the story, and I know you...
It felt tacked on.
It definitely was. I mean, I enjoyed the game, especially the last part of the game is where I was like, oh, okay, this is really fun. But so I was like, this is it's an add-on, but okay. I enjoyed the extra time.
So Cameron, I mean, we did skip a lot of stuff. There's a lot of quests in between that get you from point A to point B, but that's kind of like the main story. Cameron, What did you feel about the story?
I think the story-wise, it was really, really good. Progression, twists, has everything you want. It's just a little short, in my opinion. Other than that.
Aw, chicken chaser.
So the story was really well thought out. It was a really, really good story that really makes you invested into it.
Yeah. I can say playing evil, that like it adds like a whole nother element to like what you do in the game, because it gives you those three giant choices. You got the twin blade, and you have Whisper, and you have your sister. It's like, will you kill these people and gain power, or will you do what you would assume is the right thing?
One fun thing to note is if you do not kill Twin Blade in the expansion, he sends assassins after you.
Oh, well, I think I did the right thing. But, because he's begging for mercy at that point, and so it is kind of bad that you kill him.
Yeah, well, I'd be like, you know what? If I were begging for mercy, you'd cut my head off. Mm-hmm. So fuck you.
So you killed him or left him alive?
I left him alive, but in real life, I would have probably killed him. Like, no. Now you try to kill me.
So yeah, it is a crazy thing, and the plot's basically the same, regardless of you killing these people or not. But
yeah, the choice doesn't really play that much of a role in it. Like, it doesn't change the outcome.
It changes the rest of the game, though, a lot, about how people react to you. Some people, like, they won't... as a hero, like a good guy, you can ask people just to follow you, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, sure, you're the hero. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
As a villain, I guess is what I would call myself, my hero in my game.
The anti-hero.
Yeah. They're like, why should I follow you? They don't want to do anything with me. They don't want to have anything to do with me. And it's kind of like this, I don't know. I think it was something that blew me away when I was a kid, because of course I'd never really played that many RPGs before Fable or before the Final Fantasy VIII. And Final Fantasy VIII has no sort of choice involved. It's the story, and that's it. That's what you get. But it was kind of like a crazy cool thing for me, like the good versus evil. And you know what? It's structured like a good screenplay. It has like, a 3-act structure with a good midpoint and like an upper midpoint or a downer midpoint based upon if you're a good or evil guy. And then the end of the 3rd act twist, it's all there. It's all there. And it's perfectly structured story. I think the story is fantastic. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was solid.
Despite it being kind of short for an RPG.
I felt it served itself well. I mean, there wasn't really anything super awesome about it, but it was all believable, and I enjoyed it. I thought the lore with the bloodline was cool, and the almost the loss of your mother at the end. Admittedly, she's this old, haggard, fucked up creature because she's been being tortured for God knows how long, right?
Yeah, you find her in the afterlife, I guess. Yeah,
you find her in the afterlife,
as a ghost,
and you release her soul finally
later on in Lost Chapters.
Yeah, but that's a kind of a dumb quest, but yeah, and I thought there was some real loss there, and it's like you did all this stuff to get her out, and then slipped dead.
I also think that the voice acting was serviceable enough that it in the story sections of the game that it's like. It told it well, and I think
with the old school just drawings of the hero doing stuff, and then it just had this voiceover thing with cool music in the background.
Yeah,
I thought that was a cool way to tell
really
it,
well done.
to get you from one point to the next, because it's like, well, we could throw another like 4 quests at you, or we could just fucking throw this in here, and it serves it a little better. Even though it is a short game, it takes away a lot of those shitty quests that a lot of games tend to have that just waste your time.
So, Cameron, we'll start with you. Sorry.
All right.
I was just going to ask what you guys were going to rate it.
Okay.
Rate the story.
All right. So, out of 10 for story, I would say...
To the
Joe trying
face.
to kill me there. I would say I'd give this one 9 out of 10 story-wise. And I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if it was longer.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, it was pretty... It's longer than a movie.
But I expect to at least invest 30 hours.
Oh, that's
more.
kind
Are
of
you sure about that?
ridiculous.
'Cause, okay. So you're like, dude, this game.
I'm also giving it a 9 out of 10. I think it was a pretty darn solid story in the game, and I actually had like real feelings. I'm like, I told them I was going to kill the sister, so I must kill the sister, and I felt bad about it. And so like, obviously there's some sort of emotional connection with the game. Now, it wasn't like Final Fantasy X or anything like that where like the story is like amazing, but it was really well told. So it's a 9 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 would be like Final Fantasy X story. Like I cried at the end of the game or some shit. Like it's not there, but it is really good.
All right. For Caleb, you played it too,
for
so
what
what would
it
you
is.
give it?
I'd probably give it an 8.
An 8?
I'm surprised by you guys' 9s, to be honest. Not that there's really that many problems with it. I just feel like it served itself well, and I don't think it was super amazing. That's why I give it an 8 instead of what you guys gave it. But, overall, I did enjoy it, and you're right. I would have felt bad if I would have had to have killed him. I never felt bad about not killing him, other than I'm like...
I killed all of them, so it became a tragedy about how... my character,
You just can't stop fucking killing
was like
things.
he was just power hungry, and so we had to deal with the internal struggle of killing these people.
Yeah.
So I thought that added a really cool dimension to it that maybe you don't get on the Heroes version of the quest.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'd give it around an 8. I think it was solid. It was well worth the time.
So of course the favorite aspect.
Yeah, let's talk about gameplay.
Let us talk about gameplay. Tell us about gameplay, Cameron.
Well, there were some frustrations with gameplay.
Oh, were there really?
Oh, yeah. So I felt like after, most games you play, after you become accustomed to the controls, they almost become second nature to use, right?
Right.
I don't know if this was because I was playing this game on Xbox 360, kind of clunkiness of transferring the controls over, delaying button pushes and stuff like that. And the targeting system, you could easily, and I did several times, easily target players you shouldn't target and destroy them because
Right.
you're massively powerful.
Yeah, I
get
mean,
evil
especially
points.
once you get epic weaponry, you just kill shit in one hit, and then you're
even then, with low tier, you're smacking this person around long before you realize, oh, this is a traitor dude, and I'm just killing right
See,
now.
and for me, I rarely use the target option on my playthrough. I hated it. I hated pressing spacebar to target something. I'm like, what the fuck?
But then with the spell that I like to use, where I get to teleport behind someone, you have
That's
to
when
be
it's
locked
useful, yeah.
onto. You have to lock onto them for it to be useful, or else
the
it doesn't
only,
work.
honestly, the only time I singled out the spacebar, that's what the button is for a computer, to target was when it was one of those things where you could either, it was like one of those quests, like when you rescued the kid down in the grotto. You could either,
You tell them to wait, and you go kill those hobs, and they still just go and attack the kid.
No, I'm talking about the one where you got the ferry above them. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it's the Hob Cave.
Yeah, you can either like bring more kids or bring more people to the ferry, or you could
Right.
target the ferry and attack her. That's really like one of the only times I ever use the targeting in that game. I normally
Because
just
she's
do the
flying
auto
around.
spell, yeah. And I thought that was kind of clunky too, the
And then,
targeting.
especially with those little sprites, is what they're called.
Yeah,
there's
the
another
sprites, yeah.
sprite that I want to go
Fucking
went to go
whores.
kill, and it's so hard to kill those if you're not a ranged attack person.
I use
It's
my-
on purpose though. It's not a clunkiness of the game.
No, but I was
targeting
I'm
is still
talking.
clunky,
I'm in this dungeon, and I targeted her, but there would be so many times where she just phases through the wall, and I can't do anything.
I think
and
that's
then
part of the challenge of fighting those things.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's a
she will
glitch.
phase through the wall, and then
Other
I'm sitting there
guys were
trying to attack
phasing
her,
through the walls,
and then
too.
she was she'd spawn her her little minions, and then she would throw her like stupid thorn spell at me,
Yeah,
and
she's
I couldn't
horrible.
kill her because she was inside a wall.
I used all my little amount of magic I could.
Yeah,
it took
I
me a
zapped
long
her.
time, but I lightninged her to death.
Well, one of the nice things with those is when they get on the ground, you can hit them with your normal attack. You just have to be ready for it.
So what I found out, a great way to killing those is if you use the force push spell that just pushes people circle. By the way, if you have any friends with you and you use it, they get mad at you for doing that.
They do because it hits them too.
It pushes them away. You can't choose who it hits. And so what was you'd wait for her to kind of be ready to shoot her spell at you, and you do the force push and it'd knock her down where you can hit her with your sword.
Oh,
so
okay,
that was
yeah.
a way to get around it, but not when she's in a wall. Targeting system was clunky. Other than that, though, I had this kind of method of that I would use to kill people. That worked really well for me about late in the game, and I got around that.
There's a lot of different things you can do. You have a lot of different spells you can choose from. There's like physical surround spells. There's things that can protect you.
I love that
while
surround
you
spell.
while you do physical attacks.
Summoning
you can have
spells.
swords, and you have a bow and arrow if you must for range stuff. Yeah, there is summoning, which I've never used.
It was awesome.
Was it?
I summoned one of Jack of Blade's metal minions. It was fucking sweet. Me and that guy were trash in the world.
Perfect.
And basically, what you do is you sync it, you hotkey it.
Yeah,
Even
you
if
put
you're
it
on the
on the hotbar.
Xbox, you kind of like press one button and then press another button to do a certain spell. So actually, I know there was some clunkiness with the targeting system, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But the actual like combat of it, once you have something targeted, once you have decided upon like what spells you like to have in your like quick spell,
you can hotkey them. Yeah,
it's a wonderful. I think it's a wonderful system for combat, especially for magic use.
Yeah.
yeah, because there was my attack set and there's my defense set. That would switch back and forth between the two.
Yeah. And so, like, I think the sword is very fluid, just killing things. You have just one attack button, and then you have a block function, and you have, like, a special move function that happens when someone blocks you. You're, like, ready to basically do your down thrust attack.
Yeah,
that
it's
does a lot of
a
damage.
it's a build up kind of a move. Like you can get it from just hitting people a few times. It's like a power up.
And I think it's
And a
one
counter.
of those combat systems that's not for. I mean, it has a lot of flexibility with spells and stuff like that. It's a very simple, fun action combat system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's made for fun. Of just like the few moves, quick. Let's get it on.
Yeah,
there.
it's more like Kingdom Hearts versus Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But you know what? There was some problems I ran into, though. Like, I was using the Great Hammer, which is a slow weapon, and I understand that. I understand it's going to be slower, but one of the big issues I have with Fable and the fucking combat in it, the gameplay,
Yeah.
is when I'm hitting a guy, I hit a guard like 1 or 2 times, and then suddenly he comes back and hits me like 4 times in a row. Like, and I don't.
If he's
and it's,
using a light weapon,
it's not like
You can
it's not like
dodge roll.
I'm taking damage necessarily. It's
he's
just
knocking
annoying.
you down, and you can't do anything about it.
Well,
That's
it's
why you have to
annoying
stop
that
and roll
I'm
behind him.
getting staggered like a motherfuck out of this like peon guard piece of shit that's in here that happened to
That's why
block
you
one
need the
hit, and then he's
surround
like,
sound.
"Ha ha! I will cut you like a fucking musketeer," And there was one quest that I was doing, okay, and I went to the guild and I accepted every quest because I'm an asshole and I wanted to do all of them. The good element, the bad element.
sir.
And I went to one area, and it was to go speak with Lady Grey. And to get into that area, I had to teleport to the one spot, and there's only one fucking entry to it, right? But I had accepted this quest already, and the only options you have is to load your game from a quest. So it's like, oh, do you want to leave the quest? You can either load your game before it, or you can leave here. It's like, why can't I just quit the quest and then go accept it later? What the fuck is wrong with that?
You can.
No, you fucking can't. It won't let you. It'll
Go
let
through
you
the
load.
menu and abandon a quest.
Okay, maybe you can do that, but
Okay. Well,
it doesn't tell you that though. Anyway, and this it was fine because I was like, I'll do this, and it was escorting this bandit. I rescued him from guards, and I'm escorting him back, right? And I get to this area, and he starts getting kind of trash. So I'm like, fuck, man. All right, I better save it here and then see what I can do in the next area. I go to the next area. There's like 4 guys. They come up. I'm fighting them. One of them gets through, hits the guard. Or not the guard, hits the bandit, kills the bandit. I'm like, okay, I'll just reload it. I reload it, and there's like 12 guys in this area now. 12 guys, no joke. They're all fucking storming me. It's like Normandy up in here, and I'm like the one lone machine
or
gunman.
just a Saturday night, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so I'm just I'm trying to survive, and they're swarming. You can't tell them to wait.
Wait.
In this quest, there is no wait or follow. He will just walk with you and randomly. So what I had to do is go run into this building and have him behind me and just hold the guards at the door.
Yeah, okay.
But I still couldn't do it. I killed all 12 of them, got to the next area, and then the same thing happened. There were like 3 or 4 guys. One of them sniped him with the bow, and then I
You can use
reloaded.
a potion on him.
I did not know that until later. But anyway, the problem with it, though, is that I'll be hitting these guards, and all of a sudden one of them is like Jesus H. Guard and just comes down from the heavens, ascends or descends upon me and just fucking crushes me. Like, he just hits me 4 times, does this like twirly fucking lame ass move, cuts the guard or the bandit in half, and then the quest is over. And like, I killed 10 of them, and then the last motherfucker gets through me like I'm butter, and then just shoves his sword up the guy's ass, and then the quest is over. There were some fucking problems with it there, because I was like, why can't I just tell this guy to follow or wait? He doesn't listen. He's just like gung-ho. He's like, oh, let's go, man. Get me out of here.
Because he's a bandit. He's an idiot.
And then I eventually...
That's how all the bandits are, and the merchants.
I think I did eventually get out of the quest. So I must have abandoned it somehow. Yeah. But it was, I don't know, there were some problems with that, and then
there's a lot of side quests and a lot of side quests. Like, you have the good side quest or you have the bad side quest.
Yeah, and that's kind of a cool element.
I think that's a very cool element. So you get more sort of story in quotes that way.
Yeah, you do. And what did you guys do any of the book stuff for the school?
Yeah. So what I got obsessed with is I wanted the best armor and the best sword. So after I got the best sword, which was actually quite expensive because I wanted to buy it where you had 2 augmentation slots left, the Solus Greatsword. And they sell it in Bowerstone North for a ridiculous amount of gold. So I had to spend a whole bunch of time getting gold just to buy that sword. And once I did, I put 2 sharpening augmentations onto it, which makes the power go up to 345, which is a lot more than most tier. A lot more damage.
I didn't use the augmentations. Did you touch those, really? I threw one silver one in.
I did. I threw on the silver, and I threw on the
I put a lightning one on my bow, and that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I totally forgot about those. I was just going.
I had to do a whole bunch of money quests, bought houses, and rented them out for money so I could finally get that. And then my second one, I wanted the best armor in the game. I have to go overboard when I do that.
Yeah, hog
so I took a whole day to find all these freaking keys, and by doing that, I had to do some side quests. I ended up marrying what's her
Lady
face?
Grey?
Lady Grey, because she has 2 silver keys in her robe.
Ooh, you have to dig deep for those.
And she gives you 15,000 gold, which is awesome. She's really
You're like a mail order hero.
Wait, have you slept with her?
I have not, because you have to buy so many gifts, and you have to basically woo her in her bedroom before it is daytime.
All right, so
and it was I'm like,
before you go off on how hard it is to sleep with Lady Grey.
That shit better be legendary.
Okay, some of the great...
Margot Robbie, Wolf of Wall Street. Just
oh my god,
1 second.
Dude, Margot
Done.
Robbie on the big screen.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Anyways.
Okay, so you can get married and marry people, men and women, in this game.
Yeah.
All you have to do to get married is have a house. You can have multiple houses in a town.
Wives.
And you can have a wife or husband at each one.
And they don't know, even though your wedding's the
you
biggest
attract
thing
people
in town.
by flirting, by doing jokes with them,
or just being really renowned
really
and
good looking.
And by walking the room, they all fall in love with you.
And they get a little heart symbol above them. And once they're in love with you, the heart will start going in and out, basically like a big giant heart over their head. And you'll talk to them, and they'll be like, 2 words, wedding ring. And it's, I don't know, it's great. Every character in this thing has an awesome personality.
You can hook up later if
it's
you'd like.
great. And
this British guy called me a scrote one time. It was fucking hilarious. I was walking through a town. He's like, "You bloody scrote." I was like, "The fuck? I didn't even do anything."
I wasn't talking to the hero. He was talking to you.
Yeah. Hey.
Anyway,
you suck.
I had already married someone, so I married Lady Grey for her keys.
All for the keys
and her money.
I ain't saying she's a
She
key
gives you
digger.
15,000 to do that, but then I needed to collect 25 keys, and I think there's only 30 of these things.
Yeah, there's 30 in the whole game.
Yeah, so it's man. So I got these keys just so I can lock this one chest to give you the best armor in the game, the Archon's battle armor, which is something like over 1,000 something defense. It's awesome. And after I was obsessed with that, I was like, okay, well, I'll beat the game then.
Well, there's things you can do that, like you could buy.
I know,
you
but
can
I
have a
never
whole
did.
entire real estate business. Now you do have to evict people from their homes.
You
and
can have
do
a-
that by killing them.
You can have a huge
Oh,
real
really?
estate
Or
business.
having them killed.
So what you do if you want to remain good, you have them follow you, and you just go to some place where they'll just die by all the bandits.
I didn't know you could get them killed and take
and
their
then,
houses.
And then once they're dead, you can go buy their house.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like, hey, I want a house. So I drag someone off.
There's
into
a
the
lot of
forest.
houses you can have for sale, and there's businesses you can have for sale too.
Yep.
You just got to kill.
Did you guys do any of the mini games?
In the rent, you just go and collect rent. They put little
I
bags
did
out of gold.
Yeah, the bags are awesome.
I did
You
the
just-
fishing mini game, and I did the chicken mini game because I got a key for both.
I've done both of those.
Okay, did you guys didn't do any of like the other ones like the table golf?
Oh yeah, the little
Nope.
gambling games.
Yeah, I did the memorization one. I kicked ass at
Memorization
that.
one's the easiest one.
I didn't realize you could. I didn't realize sleeping at first gave you 6 hours. Plus, I didn't really have a bed. I only had the house that I rented out, and I was like, "Oh, I can't sleep there." When you can, you're just not supposed to. And I think I got in trouble. I got like fined for
One
sleeping
thing-
in someone's
Sleeping in
bed.
someone's
yeah, I'm like,
bed?
it's my
Nice.
fucking house. I mean, admittedly, I'm renting it, but they weren't home.
One thing I did notice that you can do is if you get a really nice house, do all of the upgrades, and then put all of your trophies in the house.
You put your
sell
trophies
it,
on the wall. Yeah.
Sell the house for a sick amount of gold.
Yeah.
Go back in. But before you sell it, you have to break down the front door. That's important. You break the front door. You sell it for a sick amount of gold. You go back in. You take all your trophies back down because they're
And then you go-
technically yours, not yours. So you take them back. You buy the house again and put all the trophies back in it and just keep doing it over and over again. And it apparently gives you a sick amount of gold.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, you
But
could
I
do
never
shit
did
like
that. I never did that.
I
But
love
that's
it
a
when
way.
games have infinite gold cheats like that.
Yeah, and the gold was
But you
never a
have
problem
to have
for me,
enough
though.
money to do the gold, though. I mean, to upgrade the house, like
And
I
the
did-
trophies.
I
If you
wanted a
rent,
house
if you
in
rent
Bowerston
stuff for
North.
long enough, like you could honestly like rent out a couple houses, go to sleep, wake up, collect gold, go to sleep, wake up, collect gold.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
eventually like get all your money back.
The-
It will take a while though.
It does, and then the day and night cycle was kind of interesting, and that's the reason why I played the mini games because I was like, well, everything's closed, and for some reason I didn't think go find a bed from some hobo.
But no, go rent or a bed in the tavern. For
Yeah, or that.
100
Yeah,
gold in Oakville.
yeah, rip off. But that's when I went and hit the mini games up, and I did the memorization one. Probably got like 20,000 gold from that.
Wow,
There is a lot of stuff you can do in the game, but it's not like an Elder Scrolls game where it's like infinitely huge game.
Yeah,
it's
I
actually
didn't really
quite.
do very many of the
it's
side
it's a
quests
quite
myself.
a manageable sized game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many demon doors, which are these doors that you have to do special things in order.
How many
to get
demon
into.
doors did you guys unlock?
Like
the ones
4.
just for the story.
I unlocked like that many, and then maybe 1 or 2 extra
Yeah.
that I just happened to be there for.
Yeah. And then there's there's a handful of towns that you can go into. There's the story quests, and then there's the other quests, and then there's all these houses you can buy, rent. And
Oh, did you guys
sell.
pull the?
You can also
and
do
people to
trading
marry,
business. You
and
can also buy
people
goods
to
from
murder.
one town and sell it in another town.
Yeah, that's good.
You can
stuff
make a
right
lot of
there.
money off of that. Yeah. Did you guys do the? I know there's a sweet little sword in the stone quest where there's.
Yeah, I did that.
That's right.
Yeah, I did that too, and I did it after I beat the main campaign because I finally reached legendary status, and I think that's what you have to have.
No.
Oh, what do you
So
need?
what
then?
I
it
think
is,
it's a certain amount
you
of
have
strength.
to have like it's like level 3 toughness and physique, and it lets you or toughness and.
I don't
what
think
is
that's
it?
true. I think it needs to be maxed because
No,
mine was
it
almost
doesn't. You
maxed
can
when I
look
went
it up.
there.
You can look it up. It doesn't have to be maxed, and it lets you pull it out.
But it sucks though. It's not as good as the
Yeah,
other weapon. It's
it's,
kind of cool though that they added stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's another. It's almost like I don't know, like olden days Catholicism where you.
Yeah, there's the church.
Yeah,
of,
you
of goodness.
the church, up on that hill right next to where the sword gets pulled out. There's the Church of Avo, and you can go in there and basically pay to get kudos from the good side, like you're paying God, you're paying off your sins, kind of a thing. So, and that was a big problem back in the day. So I thought that was kind of funny that they threw that in there as like a
There's some
callback.
Now I didn't find it, but there's some place where I guess you do a sacrifice, so you can pull a person
For scorn or whatever.
Yeah, to get the evil points, you can
Yeah.
like get a person to come with you, and then you kill them at this one place. But I never actually did it, so I never,
Yeah, there was an achievement for donating, I think, 100,000 gold to
Nice.
the church. So I picked that up.
You picked that one up?
Yeah, I got it.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of gold.
What did you do to get that much gold?
I didn't spend money for most of the game. I bought one set or one weapon. I bought the Great Warhammer when I finally realized that, okay, these little goblin dudes are taking forever to kill. And I just did mini games and quests.
For me, I spent a ton of money on mana potions because that was my play style. And then I spent like over 67,000 gold on that sword.
That's sick, but I could have done
It's
it.
an awesome
You
sword.
get a lot of gold for just playing the game. I mean, even if you don't grind out the arena, you get pretty rich.
But you know,
But you pick up the
67,000
properties.
What I did though is because if your guile is up, then the items in the shop are less expensive. So I went and got all
Right.
my guile all the way up. Because when I first went in and looked at it, it was like over 70,000 gold for that sword. So I'm like, no.
It's over 70,000. Sorry.
But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. There was another problem with gameplay that I had with the crossbow. Okay, so now with the regular bow, you've got the animation where you put the arrow on and then you draw back and then you finally get it to a spot where it'll do some good damage and then you release. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that because then if I need to get a quick shot off, if I'm like targeting and then they're sprinting at me, I can just shoot and then pull my sword out, whatever. But the issue I ran into was the crossbow. So when you have the crossbow, you load the crossbow, you pull the string back, you put the fucking bolt in, and then you're ready, right? That's a crossbow. In this game, that's not the crossbow. What you do, you pull the string back, you put the thing in, and then it's still making the little creaking sound like you're pulling the string back. And if you shoot the crossbow right away, it'll do like a gimp shot.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck? This crossbow is useless. This thing takes like 10 seconds to load. And I'm like, trying to shoot this guy. And it's like, duh.
You have a reality problem with that part of the game.
So they should have, because with a normal bow, it makes sense holding it longer. You might be able to pull it back farther.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of tension.
But
that
with
you
the
pull.
crossbow, I think it should do a set amount of damage without pulling it back. But, to counteract that, it's a long reload time.
Right. And it was already a long reload time in addition to that. And then I try to shoot a barrel and it's like,
It just bounces off them. Doink.
So I think the last aspect of gameplay that we haven't touched on is experience. How experience is collected. When you kill something, it drops these big green orbs on the ground.
Right.
And you have to go pick up the orbs. This is something I have a problem with in gameplay.
Well, if you hold down the magic button, they come towards you.
You can hold down a button and most of the orbs will come towards you, except on the PC version I found that the orbs were not that attracted to you after all.
No.
I remember on the Xbox and watching you play the Xbox, the orbs will actually curve towards you.
No, they didn't. Only when I was moving would they curve. And so that's why I moved.
All right.
Because if you stand still, they come at you in a straight line.
There were some points in the game, though, where you were just stuck killing things in the same spot. Or like, shit would
Endless
happen.
battle.
And like there'd be green orbs and the orbs fade away and you don't get the XP.
Yeah,
and
if
it's
you
like,
have a-
what the fuck?
Well, one thing to note, though, you gain experience also by doing something. Hitting something with your sword gives you strength experience. Using magic gives you will experience. But by killing stuff, you get general experience, which can be used towards any category.
That's true. So you go back to the Heroes Guild, basically. You go into their like little archway of experience or whatever they have there, and you spend experience points. And there's strength categories, physical, speed, and other shit with having to do with the bow, which I never touched.
I didn't either.
And then
it proved to be a mistake.
There was will categories. Will is magic.
My bow was
There's
pretty
will categories, and there's a whole bunch of different spells.
Tons
you
of
can get.
spells.
You can max them up. The max level is 7, and you can do crazy shit if you want to. And it's basically this entire thing like spend your experience where you want. It's basically the same thing in Diablo, just more complicated.
Yeah, and I for some reason the menu, like I didn't realize that there were tabs at the top, like in the pages, because my menu looks different.
Yeah,
than
your
yours.
menu is different than ours.
It's very different. It doesn't look like a menu. It's like a fucking book, and I didn't see that there were extra tabs. So I was like, God, I have all this XP, and then nothing to spend it on. And then I finally noticed one time, I'm like, oh, there's like 3 things, and I clicked on the other ones. I'm like, oh man,
you could have had way better magic.
Yeah, well, it got way better, and the game got really easy. But no, I thought that was a cool little level up system. I mean, it's not complicated, but it does give you a lot of options, and you can really tailor your playthrough. If you're doing just like a quick run through, you can be like, all right, I want to do bow this time, bow and magic, just pure range, and just power all your points into
and
that.
Hope no one ever hits me.
Yeah, don't let no one ever get close to me, and I'll be fine. Yeah. But no, I thought that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that.
It was.
Okay, so gameplay.
Out of gameplay, what would you rate it?
I'll go first. Gameplay,
Yeah,
I
I'll go
would give
last.
it a 7.
7 out of 10 from Cameron.
7
for
out of
gameplay.
10.
And why do you say 7?
Because there's just certain things I can't get past, just like the targeting system. I needed the targeting system in order to do certain things that fit my play style, and it was apt to target the wrong person.
Yeah, it was like a closest to. It was almost like Call of Duty when someone runs in front of you as you're shooting someone far away. It's like, oh, you want this guy now? And you're like, no, I
Yep,
want the guy
little
that's shooting
tug.
at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
The auto aim.
I feel you.
But so, yeah. And then certain things, I could, again, I was playing an Xbox game on an Xbox 360. And so I ran into other issues I'm just going to attribute to that. But there were certain glitching issues, like phasing issues. Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Schweiss, what do you give gameplay?
I agree with Cameron. I'd probably say about. Well, you know what?
Well, including like extra shit and all that other stuff.
I'll give it a 7. Yeah, I think
7?
that's fair.
Okay.
That's as high as I would ever go.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, there were problems with the combat. I did finally get the hang of it, but it's almost to the point where it gets repetitive. I mean, against Jack, my strategy was hit, and then big hit. But I wouldn't big hit if he started to swing because his is faster. And then it became like this, almost like this memorized button pattern. And I was like, this, I don't know.
No, see, for me, when you were in the snow part in the necropolis,
Yeah.
I couldn't do big hit because it'd make them stagger and they'd get up and
that part was annoying.
And
yes.
so what I would do is I would do small hit until they died because you'd kill them much faster that way.
Yeah, that was faster. But there were some problems with the gameplay, and I did really enjoy a lot of the side quests. There was some good stuff. The stories that you would tell the children for the book quest. Some of those were hilarious.
He read some pretty good books to them.
Some stuff that you should not be reading to kids.
Lusty Argonian maid.
Not close. There's some pretty close ones. One about like
the sock method.
Yeah, the sock method was pretty funny, and then the one where the guy's wife, this tavern owner's wife, cheats on him and he poisons everybody. It was pretty fucked up. And the kids are like, "Yay!" 'Cause they love story time. There was a lot of fun stuff, and I mean,
I love it when I had a stack of books to give him, and then he reads the one, and then they all get up like they're gonna leave. I'm like, no, story time's not done.
Story time's not
done.
Yeah, and
here's another book. Read them.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of fun stuff. It was cool with the, Joe growing horns as an evil guy, me having the halo, and everyone cheering me.
Butterflies.
And yeah, well, I think it's.
I would put that on the design aspect of the game, but yeah.
Let's do the gameplay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's cool, the consequence stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
so yeah, that's where I justify my 7.
And just so you know, having more than one wife and sleeping with both of them is not bad.
No,
you
it's
do not get bad karma.
Hey man, there's not that high of a population.
They
You need
don't
to pick
really
that shit
care
up.
that much.
All right, what would you give it, Joe?
I am going ahead and considering, there's some clunkiness with the combat system, but it's nothing that I really have a problem with. I mean, I've gotten frustrated in some spots where I was stuck in a corner, and I'm like, I can't do anything. I can't get. out of this
there were a
fucking
few
corner.
spots, yeah.
And there were some glitches where there was this experience orb that was dropped by this guy that was off the bitmap a little bit. So there was a glitch where the experience orb wouldn't come towards me. I'm like, I can't get that experience orb.
That would suck
experience
if
is
it was a boss
So
fight,
it's
too.
mostly having to do with the experience orbs being in a bad place, and the targeting is bad, although it hardly ever became a problem. I would give gameplay an 8 out of 10. God, the extra stuff is just a lot of fun. It's the marrying people, flirting, owning houses, and it's all that. That's Fable to me.
Kicking
chickens, exactly. It's all the fun
Getting
little
that hat.
things on the way through the story, which I didn't get as much of on this playthrough, but I've dicked around enough in this game to know that stuff is just great.
Chicken chaser.
Chicken chaser.
Did you guys ever change your title? Just
I
curious.
did 2 times.
I did gladiator.
I kept mine chicken chaser.
I got sick of them saying chicken chaser. I'm like, how do I get them to respect me?
I eventually was like, it's an endearing term. Whatever.
So I changed it to Ranger, and that I should have left it there because they're like, Ranger, that's an outdoorsy name, isn't it? And they'd be like, look there, kids, it's the Ranger. And then I changed it to Liberator, and it's like, hey, Liberator, that's kind of a weird name, isn't it?
So have you guys ever seen the reactions of people in the towns? Have you ever seen it to as much detail as in Fable?
No.
in any other RPG game.
No, I don't think so.
No,
it's
not even in Fallout.
It's
or
fucking
something
wonderful.
Like
It's one of the wonderful aspects of this game.
Yeah, like people seeing you and like dropping their crates and being like, "Oh,
Yeah, the gay dude. Yeah, the gay dude. He just got the huge heart above it, and every time I walk past him, he drops his shit. I was
okay.
I was thinking about marrying him because I was like, he deserves it. he deserves it.
No, okay, so yes,
big
people,
boy.
people cheer for you and stuff, and then in order to give kids the books they need to learn, I was stealing books from people's houses.
socialist." I was too.
I'm like, how is that giving me bad points, but sleeping around isn't? But anyway, I was sitting there in his bedroom, and I steal a book, and I grab it, and it gives me like the 2 bad points it does. But then right behind me here, yay! I'm like, oh shit, did you see me do that?
Yeah, it was kind of cool with those kind of things.
It's great. Okay, so the next aspect of the game is design,
Yeah.
and this is visual arts sort of stuff.
Yeah, how like you think it fits into the
I saw
aspect of
Joe playing it,
game.
and I mean his version obviously wasn't the HD port that I played. But even given that, I think the game looks good enough. I mean, there's not really any problems with it. It's kind of
It has a very kind of Disney-esque fantasy style with
yeah, it's almost
At the
cartoony.
beginning,
The design.
yeah, at the beginning, it felt like a kid's game to me.
It is-
Weird proportions for some of the characters at times.
Yeah, a little cartoony. It's not like a super dark fantasy RPG, and it's not a realistic looking fantasy RPG. It's sort of got a 3D cartoony.
One thing I forgot to mention is I kept wondering how to make my guy bigger, like musclier. And I don't know how you can make him musclier, but you can eat tons of food to make your guy fat.
Yeah, I
Nice.
did that. I made my guy fat. He's just like, "Urgh, the hero
Yeah, and
let
one of the-
himself go."
And a lot of the design aspect is like your character changing as you go along.
Yeah, when you die, you get scars. I don't think it's butterflies flying around you. I think it's flies. I think you're rotting. I think you are undead because my guy got fucked up more and more, and he was just this ugly fucker. Because the few times you die, you get all scarred, and it's pretty cool. And I mean, you can give yourself tattoos, you can give yourself a beard, you can mess with your hairstyle.
And then the more attractive the hairstyle, the easier it is to woo the women.
Yeah, and there's an attractive factor with your armor as well.
Yeah.
Like you can make yourself look evil with a dark armor. You can make yourself look better, more attractive with light armor.
No, actually, light armor is not as attractive as the neutral armor.
Oh, is that the
That's
case?
true, yeah.
Okay. I thought the women would be into the bad boys, but I guess those are probably the ones you don't want anyway,
There's
right?
scary, and then there's too good.
Yeah. No.
the buildings sort of have this sort of cartoony design where they're not quite, square buildings. They're kind of
They're kinda
roundish,
fucked up,
and like I don't know how to explain it without like seeing like a.
They're just
cartoon.
off, like
they're
the-
just cartoony.
Like the guys who made them were kind of drunk one day. And
But it's
like-
not cell shaded cartoony. It's just got that cartoony sort of feel.
Yeah.
And it goes from light to dark, and that's all cool. The creatures, there's maybe like 20 different creature designs in the game, and it's fine for how short
Yeah,
the
it's
game
not a
is.
long game.
Some of them are kind of like really cool looking. Especially the bosses are all really cool looking, I think. And then the rest are kind of like variations upon that theme, like of whatever bit, like the werebear part, whatever the fuck they're called.
Balverine.
The Balverines.
I like Wolverine. That makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
dog, wolf.
I'm never gonna remember it.
What is bow? What is a bow? What?
I don't know. I don't know what a bow wow wow is.
No, it was about
And there's different like weather aspects to the areas that you go into. I think it's like for a 2004 game, like it's as good as an
Yeah.
Xbox game can look.
Yeah.
And the loading times on the original Xbox definitely like
Terrible.
It showed that.
Oh, was it pretty
It's-
bad on you
it's
guys'
trying-
version?
I would wait. I would
on the
have to-
original Xbox, the
on
loading
the
times
Xbox
were
360.
bad.
PC
I would
for
be
life,
waiting
baby.
for like 90 seconds between screens.
Are you
sometimes.
serious?
It was terrible. And when I went to Oakville, it would get the frame rate would drop insanely.
Dude, I had no problems. It was excellent. Everything was crisp.
And again, that might be
fast.
because I was playing an Xbox game on a 360. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
The lighting effects were pretty cool too.
Didn't you play it on the PC as well, Joe?
I played it on the PC as well, but it was the original PC
Yeah, you didn't get
version.
that.
so it
it's
still had the loading
the
times?
2008 port of the Xbox.
Yeah, the game
It did not have the loading times.
My
Oh, it
version
didn't have quite the loading
Yeah,
times.
it's the Xbox loading
Yeah.
Fable.
The anniversary edition came on sale like at the perfect time for me. Like right about when I was going to start it, it went down to like $7, and I'm like,
And
oh,
Caleb's version, it looks a lot more like Fable 2. If you've ever seen screenshots of Fable 2,
I've seen a little bit
That's
of
what
them,
it
yeah.
looks.
It's like a simple version of it with less character models,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's really a good looking game.
No,
Your
I'm
version.
pretty impressed. Yeah, it looks nice.
So on design, there's nothing wrong with the design. I thought it was a really cool world. It doesn't,
Weapons are cool looking.
It doesn't look like other fantasy games, but it doesn't look so different that it's like crazy. But some of the character models are kind of repetitive, especially of in-game stuff, and that was one of the things that reviews at the time kind of gave it crap for.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put 8 out of 10 for design. I include one of those points is knocked off for repetitive character design. The other one is for on the original Xbox, the loading times are bad.
Oh, man.
Dude, if you want
Terrible.
repetitive like characters, go play Oblivion. Like every single character looks the same.
And there's only
they
like
have-
6 voices,
Yeah,
too.
and there's like 6 voice actors.
You'll
so,
be
like,
talking
everybody
to-
sounds the same.
You'll be
too.
talking to this homeless girl, and she's like, "Can you spare a coin, kind sir?" And then you give it to her, and she like gives you information. She's like, "Yes, the spies were located over here last week." And then you leave. She's like,
they'll like
"Thank you."
change.
Yeah, it's like they have a certain set of dialogue that'll show up in certain parts of the game, and they have like one person talk, do the recording for it. They just put it where the fuck they want. It's weird.
Yeah.
And also, before I give my rating on the visual aspect of it, I know a lot of people, I saw a lot of bad reviews on Steam for the version of the game I got. I honestly didn't really see that many glitches. There were a few times where things went through walls. There's a time where a guy like floated a little bit, but I don't know, I didn't run
Nothing
into that.
too like freaky.
No, nothing game breaking. So as far as the design goes for me, I think I'm going to agree with Joe on the 8. I mean, some of the stuff did get stale. I mean, the faces and the stuff like that, but the weapons were all great looking. The areas were cool, and I liked the fact that my guy grew facial hair after a while. I mean, I was in that jail for like ever. And I had like a full beard going.
The only time you're going to have a full beard, kid.
Yeah, pretty much. And I thought that part was really cool. I thought it was awesome that your hair grew. And like I was
And
bald.
then when you got old, then your facial hair grew all the way down to your chest almost.
Yeah. And like my guy, I went in bald because I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to bald one day soon. And I went bald. And then while I was in jail, my hair like grew back in because of time.
Nice.
I thought that was a really cool element to the visuals of the game.
You know what's cool about that? I had played The
Everything.
Witcher 3 a little bit ago, and they had a similar aspect in that where like you can shave your beard and then it'll eventually like
It'll
go back
start
in.
growing back? Oh,
and
that's
same with
cool.
like your hair and stuff. Like it was a pretty sweet thing that I had noticed about that game.
Cameron,
Awesome.
what do you think of the look of the game?
Well, there was this one time where a whole quest just disappeared for me, but I don't know if that was, again, I'm going to blame the Xbox 360 playing an Xbox game.
Well, there's some quests that have to do with other quests, and so if you
No, I had started the quest, and since it was in Oakville, I was in the middle of the quest, the game crashed. I actually had to reload the game.
that's not the look of the game.
I know, but just anyways, design. I
Looks like
agree
a
with
loading
you
screen.
guys. I agree with you guys. It's an 8 out of 10 for the time it came out.
All right. What's next?
Next would be sound and music.
All right,
Yes.
I'll start this one off since I haven't yet. I feel like the sound in this game was pretty solid. I mean, all of the fighting, the blocking, the slashing, that all sounded genuine. The music I thought was great. It was very atmospheric. The intro track obviously is quite well done.
It's recognizable enough that you can hum it. The da 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 da. Like, I actually think the music is actually pretty spectacular in this game.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, it's not Nobuo Uematsu by any
but-
means, but the main track, especially with Danny Elfman, is great.
Yeah, that got me really excited about the game. To listen to that opening thing as it was loading is perfect.
Yeah, and then
Did
I
you feel
mean,
disappointed going from that to like the regular
No,
not at all.
It's kind of a variation of it.
Yeah, it's
sounds
all
good.
good. It fits too. It's not like some random, you go into a town and it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Yeah,
It's no
S-Star
S-Star theme from Final Fantasy.
no,
VIII?
nothing like
Damn
that.
fucking
And
S-Star.
I mean, the voice acting was done really well, but that was kind of repetitive. It sounded like all of the women had the same exact voice. Like even the old grandma who you saved the kid out of the cave like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And his grandma, you go talk to her, she sounds just like every other woman.
I love the Cockney accents of everybody.
Yeah.
I love
You
it.
can actually woo the grandma too.
oh, that's hot.
And you can sleep with her.
G-MILF, baby.
Yeah.
It makes more sense when you go back and
that's
play
just
the
a
50
Yeah, it's
year
just a
old.
gilf. FYI, in case you didn't already know.
Oh man. It makes more sense if you decide to marry late in the game. You could marry a grandma because you guys are like 50 years old, but or you can marry.
Well,
this
that
really
means she's
hot
even
young
older.
I know no one else ages but you. Like I was engaged with this one woman for most of the game, and I came back and actually married her when I was 50, and she was the same age.
So the hack and slash sounds, the little like ding sounds of you like teleporting and shit. I do agree. I think it all fits.
Your health is low.
within the game.
Do you have any food?
Do you
or
have
potions?
any? Do you have any potions or food? I did have problems with that line in the past. Like that line used to.
You can actually turn it
Annoy you?
off.
There's a lot of repetitive.
Yeah, and it's kind of annoying how the guildmaster micromanages
Guildmaster
your
stuff.
gameplay. He's like, "Hey, why don't you go
Early,
here?"
he
You
kind
can
of
turn
It's
it
like,
off.
yeah, why don't you
can
go
actually turn
fuck
it
off? I'm trying to have fun here.
he slowly goes further
Away.
and further away.
Yeah, he
so
does.
It's fine.
Well, and then he eventually gets like fucked, but lives.
I think the voice acting's actually. I mean, yeah, there's some repetitive stuff with the people in the village, but I mean, it's still like it changes based upon what you do in the game. So I still think that's a cool aspect. Obviously, they have like hours and hours of different sounds of different ways that people react to you and stuff like that. The voice acting of the main characters in the game, I thought they were all pretty fantastic for the time, especially. Yeah, music. Sound effects, great. I loved the way it sounded. Anybody have any problems with the sound?
Nope.
Not really. No.
I mean,
Except
every now and then, I'm pretty sure this was because the Xbox 360 playing old game. Every now and then, I'll be playing along. If something like drastic happened with the sound, I'd get a really like harsh. That would happen, but that was not the game's fault, so I'm not going to hold it against it.
and the narrator, I thought worked just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and give sound a 10 out of 10. Sound/music a 10 out of 10.
All right.
Or what about you, Cameron?
I would say, I want to say 10 out of 10, but was it really a perfect 10 out of 10? Yeah, let's just go with 10 out of 10.
All right.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
10
I
out of
didn't,
10?
I didn't
10
have
out
a
of 10 for
problem
you
with
too?
it.
Okay.
So
Okay. So our last category is
replayability.
Cameron. Now I know you had some problems with this game, and you had the similar problem with Fallout 4, where we're playing these games for the podcast, and you didn't necessarily choose the game, and so I
No.
know you somehow you have your hand behind your back,
I want to go play Fallout 4.
being forced to play these games. And so I know you had some problems getting into Fable initially, but replaying, would you ever go back to this Fable or play Fable Anniversary possibly?
Maybe play through as evil this time.
Maybe I could do that, but I feel like I am done with that game. There's not enough still there for me to want to go play it again.
Even with all the side quests that you skipped.
I feel like I didn't miss very much of those side quests. Most of this, when I played those side quests, when I did, it just felt like it was just a more opportunity to get gold, to
something
increase
just
fame, or to increase your good or bad points. It was just to help
Would you ever
grind.
continue the game from where you are right now and mess with houses and do side quests or other shit like that?
See, if that just changes the aspect of the game, and is not now a game to just become
dick
a
around
real
in?
estate tycoon,
Yeah.
to become a trade master, or is it still like part of the game? I feel like now
try to
that
get
I've
into
beaten
every
the
demon
game,
door that you can.
Yeah.
I
there's
guess
that.
if there was, if I was playing a version with achievements, yes, I would probably go back and do that. But since
Okay.
I was playing a version without it, I don't really feel the need or the drag to go back and replay
Okay.
it.
So what would you give out of 10?
Out of 10, replayability, I would give, again, depending on your version, my version, I would give it a 7.
7.
Well, that's a lot higher than I thought you were going to give it
Yeah,
based upon
that's
your...
a fairly high replay value.
I think the replay value is actually pretty darn high. And if I weren't playing other games for this for this podcast, I
would
would
consider go back.
I
and
would be
playing it
playing
again?
this game a lot more. I'd be.
Did you play the anniversary that Caleb played?
No.
Well, you'd have to buy the game again, and I mean there are achievements, but
I wouldn't, and
I
it's
don't
the
think that's
exact same
enough.
game, right?
If I were to have bought Joe's version, I don't think I'd buy it.
I would like to play through this game at least one more time as a hero and try to go and get really good equipment and stuff like that. I didn't really work on that sort of stuff, and trying to get the achievements in Steam. That would be cool. That would be cool. Cool reason to go back and play Anniversary again. The story is not big enough though to like to be like, oh yeah, I want to go through the story again. Like, it's a pretty short kind of stint with the story. I'd give replay value an 8 out of 10 personally. It's mostly having to do with the short story. Like with the Final Fantasy games, which I've of course played a lot of, I of course am always thinking like, oh, I would like to go back and play FF10 or FF7 or FF6 right now.
Yeah.
And
it's because of the story.
And it's because of the story as well as the extra stuff.
Yeah, that's true. The extra stuff is
And
awesome.
for Fable, it's just the extra stuff, or / I can play as a hero now. Which is cool, and I think for most people, this game would be, especially back in 2004, this game would have been like play it again as a hero this time. But, for me, it's an 8 out of 10.
All right. I was kind of leaning towards like 7, or maybe even, probably 7 is my score for replayability. But then I realized I jumped back on after I beat the game and just went through and
So you
grabbed as
did
many
play
achievements.
again.
So I'm like, you know what, that counts. I didn't do everything in there. I mean, there's some crazy ones. There's the one that's called I Did This for a Chivo, where you have to like put on a red beard, put on a dress, and go get a headshot with a crossbow. It's like something fucking random and just funny that you have to do. And I didn't do that. And there's a few other ones that I would have had to have done. I think one's called like a heroic feat, and I think you have to go through without doing a single evil thing. And that's going to be rough, because I accidentally shoot guys all the time.
I've never accidentally shot a single person.
I killed a guy like twice.
I've never accidentally shot someone, but I have destroyed them with a sword.
Yeah, that's the problem with the big swords. It's like, oh, you're dead
You know
now.
what a big problem is with that? Like that surround spell, the poof spell, the force, the force push, as you
push
said.
away.
That's 2 evil points right there.
Fuck that,
if you
man.
accidentally hit someone with that, so you would have to do only the surround spell for you.
Yeah.
that could be the
Surround
only.
spell
That's
and
the only
Assassin's
protective spell
Rush.
you could do around
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
because of that, I would push it up to an 8. I mean, there were a lot of things I came back to. I went back and grinded out gold to go get the achievement for the 100,000 donation for the church, and I just found myself having fun with it. I think maybe I'd go through it again to get all the rest of the achievements, but really there's like open every demon door, collect every key, open every chest. I'm like, fuck, that's multiple playthroughs, I believe, for the chests. And
Collect every chest? Jeez.
actually it might not be collect every chest, but
Speaking of the mic, Cameron, please.
but there's a bunch of them, and I think maybe someday if I have time I'd like to return to it, but the fact that I did return to it is why I'm pushing it up to an 8.
Okay.
Because I replayed.
All
to some
right.
extent.
What's our final verdict?
Well, the final verdict for Caleb would be
Caleb's points
we're
don't
gonna
count.
we're gonna go Caleb's points first. Would be 41 out of 50.
So I give it an 82 out of 100.
Yeah, 82 out of 100,
All right.
which is very close to the final review, which
the
is
Nude Clan official score.
The Nude
84 out of
Bullshit.
100.
Nice. How does that rank against the other games we've played? I guess we can look into that in a second. Sorry about the
It's
mic.
I would
Yeah,
say
with the
that it's
hellish
about
pop.
fairly average according to our other
Fairly
scores.
average, the average 80s.
Well, the
We've been
average-
playing really good games.
Yeah, we've been they've been in
honest.
the upper 80s,
Yeah.
or at least at 80. I don't think we've had a game yet that's fallen below 80 points.
Okay.
The lowest was 80, and that was Fallout 4. Worst game of all
Which,
time.
by the way, won game of the year, which is kind of bullshit in my opinion.
For dice or whatever.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
Dice Awards.
Dice Awards. Okay. So what's the greatest game of all time?
All right, so the greatest game of all time, according to Nude
to
Clan,
Nude Clan our
is
4
Diablo.
Nice.
And with a second place, barely edging out Eco, is Fable.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
So you liked it better than you thought.
No, I liked it. I just
Than
didn't-
you thought you would.
I liked it more
Cameron
than I
just
thought
likes
I
to
would.
allude to doucheness when really he's like, no.
No,
it's
I
fine.
liked playing the game, but I still don't think I would play it in my own time.
Well, and you
if I
realize
didn't have to.
I felt similar. I felt similarly because the first part of the game, I mean, it's interesting, but it's frustrating the way the controls are. It's like a lot to
I
take
probably
in.
would have stopped playing it if I didn't need to.
But the last
But
portion
when I
is
pushed through
really
it, when
good.
I pushed through it, and I had all this awesome stuff, yeah, It was a lot of fun. And for me, it's that challenge. I need to get those keys to get this best armor. I need to get this freaking best sword, but I need all this money.
And it sucks because then you go to the end boss and you're like, oh, that was fucking easy. You're like, there's nothing that can challenge me at this point.
Actually, I would actually go back and play this game if we all wanted to get into a contest to see who could buy all of the houses.
You can buy all but like 4 buildings.
All
in
the
game.
ones you can buy. If we went back and had a challenge amongst us, I would do that.
What about like only fists?
Oh, that would be terrible.
Pure punching playthrough.
I'm at max, and it is hard.
Did any of you guys go do the Fight Club stuff?
Oh no, I forgot to do that.
I did when I played it before.
I totally forgot to do that. I was going to do it, but they're like, "Oh, we don't just let anyone in. Piss off," you know. And I was like,
you have to start at one town.
I will.
Yeah,
fine. I don't know. I love the game personally.
So if we made a personal challenge, I would go back and play the game.
So are you? Do you feel like playing Fable 2 now? Though, does this Fable?
Fable 2 is supposed to be better.
Fable 2 is supposed to be the best
I would
Fable.
give Fable 2 a look now that I've played this one. I definitely would.
And it is a 360 game, not a port to 360.
Does Fable 2 bring in like guns?
You have a pet.
Yeah, there's guns.
I think you can be a woman as well, but that might be Fable 3.
You can fuck with the economy. You can tank the economy. There's cool stuff.
Yeah.
At least is that 2 or 3?
I'm excited.
I know you can do most of that stuff in 3. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it is 3. I remember reading about it and I was like, oh, dude.
3's supposed to be the disappointment, but it's still supposed to be an overall pretty good game.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hopefully get into the sequels
someday
later.
I would like to play Fable 2. We'll see on our next game, me and you, Cameron. We'll see.
I mean, we can. I thought we were trying to steer away from just doing
trilogies.
Trilogies
I
series,
would prefer that, but you guys don't.
It's really up to us. I mean,
the more eclectic our game choice, the better for the show.
Yeah, but at the same time,
you could always go
overall-
back and
You know
play.
what would be fun?
We're playing a strategy game next time, and then you guys are reviewing a shooter.
Really
so
fun? Not
necessarily.
Would it be a really good idea? Is if we scoured and found one of the worst games ever, and then did a review on that. That would be a fun and an interesting.
Or
review.
the bargain bin movie podcast idea that we had. Instead, it's bargain bin gaming.
Video games.
No, that'd be horrible.
It would just be old NBA games.
Yeah, it's like, oh Jesus. Yeah, just a bunch of sports games. Although they're still playable, so I don't know.
Right.
We'd have to find the real trash of the world.
All right, so do we have any gaming headlines? I know you guys were looking stuff up earlier.
I didn't really see anything that super
the
captured.
only-
Far Cry Primal next few days. By the time you listen to this,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
probably out.
The 23rd is when Far Cry Primal hits stores, and the DLC for the season pass for Fallout 4 is being bumped up to $50 from its current price of $30 on March 1st.
And that is because
So if you're interested in Fallout, get that first. The reason that it's being bumped up is because they've decided they're going to add more content than they were before, and now they are bumping up the price because of that.
All right, fair enough.
All right, well, we don't have any iTunes reviews, do we?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
You bastards, go
so
out
Joe
and do
didn't make
that.
any fake accounts and give a review.
That's not a fake account. It's just my account. We did the same thing for Ultima. I was like, okay, guys, go on there and rate it. And I think that might be why we had a little boost at the beginning with Ultima. But
You know what?
I
think
did give a rating to Ultimate Final Fantasy.
I think this calls for a certain little track.
You're bringing this in.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't
Okay.
have to do that. We do appreciate any reviews you guys put forth. It really does help the show out quite a bit. Holy shit.
Sorry about that.
If you can spare
I
the
pressed
time,
a button I shouldn't have pressed.
if you can spare the time to, oh, I thought it smelled like burning for a sec. It's probably my brain because of that hell. But yeah, if you can spare the time to throw us a quick review, I mean, we'd love to read it on the show, and
Yeah.
it does boost us. So
Yeah, well, if that's it for the show. I did want to look up and see if we put all of our stuff together, what rating it would be. But it's obviously an 83, or it would
84.
be an 80. It would be an 83.5, wouldn't it?
yeah, something like that.
Something like-
so it's pretty close. My ranking with you guys is pretty similar.
Yeah. So the official Nude Clan score for Fable is 84 out of 100. We're skipping Getting Fat today, and we'll see you guys next week. Let's do some plugs real quick. You can go to nudeclan.net, join our forums, ask us questions there. There were actually more than just one question.
Yeah,
I got mixed up earlier. You can give us ideas for games that we should play. You can tweet me at Joseph de Gaulier.
And then please tweet me at NudeClanCam.
And I am at Obsidian Bah, BAH.
At UFF Podcast.
Nice. You can find our Twitch account, which some of us should definitely, especially Caleb Craig, should definitely be streaming this week at twitch.tv/
Nude Clan Gaming, I believe.
Nude Clan Gaming.
We've had to like fucking dance around these names for things, and it's really annoying. But Facebook
/ Nude Clan Gaming.
Yes, okay.
And
People tend
for
to
other
frown
correspondence,
upon the
facebook.com/ Nude Clan
Not my nude.
Podcast. That's NEWD, and then Nude Clan Podcast at
Fucking
Gmail.
Facebook in there.
And then
censoring.
even online when we're playing Call of Duty, they would oftentimes just remove our nude.
Yeah, occasionally nude would just disappear.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like,
They
let's
just
add it
like
again.
wipe it, but they won't
We
ban
need
it,
to-
so they like let us.
We're
put it
not
back
the
on
only
there.
Nude Clan online.
No, we're not.
No.
So you should go on those Facebook groups and be like, hey guys,
We were
check out our
first.
podcast.
Yeah. We'll have to hit that up. We were first. There was another group that was like, oh, I love that name. But then we found them later and they kicked our asses and God.
Even if they're better, it doesn't mean it's theirs. It is ours.
It's true.
Next time there's a Pokemon anniversary episode. Is that what we're looking
Yes,
at, Caleb?
Oh.
It is the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, so look forward to a Pokemon-themed episode.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
Enjoy the nude.
May the list go on.
No!